Chapter 1539. Chapter 1538. Persuasion. First, truth be told, Xiao Xiao and Lin Yi's relationship was too much of a joke at first, but the two really fell in love later on. Xiao Xiao didn't expect that Lin Yi would cross mountains and rivers to come to the extreme north for her, to participate in this dangerous ice palace test. Xiao Xiao's heart pounded when she heard how Lin Yi fought Naipeo and Nitian, even though she knew that Lin Yi had won for sure. Otherwise, how could Lin Yi be called the #1 under-earth class? But Xiao Xiao still couldn't help but be a little nervous. She wanted to know how Lin Yi had dealt with these two masters from the ancient houses and sects. That's why I say you should cherish this kind of boyfriend. And the first thing you need to do is to become a cultivator and dispel the yin qi in your body. Otherwise, you won't even have your life. How are you going to spend the rest of your life with him? The sect master said very awkwardly. She'd never persuaded anyone before, but she had no choice but to slowly convince Xiao Xiao to join the ice palace now. I'll have to ask Lin Yi honey first. Xiao Xiao insisted. You. The sect master rolled her eyes, helpless. Think about it. He's a practitioner. You're not. His ultimate goal is to break through sky class and step into sky class. If you were a normal person, you'd only have a few decades to live, but a sky class has a really long lifespan. What would he do if you died? Oh, Xiao Xiao said. You agree? The ice palace master was overjoyed at Xiao Xiao's answer. No, Xiao Xiao said. Other than Lin Yi's words, she didn't really trust anyone else's words. This sect master looked pretty passionate, but who knew what she was planning? She had to have some ulterior motives. Xiao Xiao didn't believe that the ice palace was so poor that they couldn't even get a disciple. If it was really like what the sect leader had said before, passing through an extremely difficult trial to become an outer sect disciple was enough to make all the families and sects scramble for it, then wouldn't the ice palace be fighting to get an inner sect disciple? Why did they have to pick her as a patient? Fine. Even if she had a cold body, they didn't have to do this, did they? It didn't really matter if she joined the ice palace or not. They had so many sky class masters already. Why would they need her? And so Xiao Xiao just kept saying oh and oh, not promising anything. The sect master didn't know what to say. It seemed like she could only talk to Lin Yi. She hoped that Lin Yi was an open-minded person. Lin Yi was anxiously waiting for Xiao Xiao's news when a green figure floated over. Lin Yi quickly went up and cupped his fists. Senior, my girlfriend Xiao Xiao. She's awake. Come with me. Qing nodded to Lin Yi. Ah, she's awake? That's great. Lin Yi was comforted to hear that Xiao Xiao was awake. He quickly caught up to Qing. I thought the ice palace forbade men from entering. You're an exception. Qing said. Me? Exception? Lin Yi blinked, not understanding why he was an exception. He wasn't an exception before, but now? All the husbands of the ice palace master are allowed to enter the inner hall. Qing said. Ha! Lin Yi's eyes went wide. Husband of the ice palace master? What does that mean? Lin Yi jumped in fright. Could it be that the ice palace master, that cold girl, had fallen for him? She wanted him to marry into her family? Lin Yi sweated. That girl was pretty, but she was a little cold. Plus, it wasn't easy to be a husband who married into someone else's family. Lin Yi didn't want the rest of his life to end here. Qing paused at the shocked look on Lin Yi's face, but quickly understood that Lin Yi had misunderstood her. She quickly explained, Xiao Xiao's body is a rare in-cold body, the best body for practicing our ice palace arts. So, the sect master wants to take her in as a disciple on behalf of her master, officially taking her in as her junior. She'll stay in the ice palace and continue practicing. Oh, Lin Yi frowned after hearing Qing's words. You guys want to take Xiao Xiao as an inner disciple. Not just an inner disciple, but also the next ice palace master. Qing said, her body is even more suitable for practicing our ice palace arts than the sect masters, and she can directly receive the ice mountain's legacy. In other words, there won't be any barriers for us to break through, and she'll be able to reach Sky Class. What? Qing's words shocked Lin, even though he was experienced and knowledgeable. Without any barriers, she could reach Sky Class in one go? What kind of existence was that? It was even more amazing than having a cheat code. But Lin Yi calmed down quickly. Lin Yi knew what kind of existence the Ice Palace was. Even if Xiao Xiao's talent was insane, there was no reason for them to give her something like this, was there? If it was just letting Xiao Xiao train here and get rid of the cold qi in her body, Lin Yi would believe it. But letting Xiao Xiao receive some sort of legacy and become the Ice Palace master? This didn't make sense to Lin Yi. Lin Yi didn't know what the Ice Palace legacy was, but he had heard of similar legacies. It was said that each generation's legacy could only be passed down to one person, and some special ones could only be passed down to two people at most. The opportunity to receive the legacy was very important. Even if Xiao Xiao's talent was good, the Ice Palace couldn't just randomly pick someone to receive the legacy, could they? Why her? Lin Yi asked. I've already said that she has a rare Yin physique that is hard to come by in 1,000 years. I won't hide it from you, but the Ice Palace master failed when she accepted the inheritance. The inheritance has a strict requirement for the inheritor's physique, and the Ice Palace master only has a fake Ice Heart J bone physique, not a pure one. Qing explained, this type of body isn't very pure, and needs to be refined with an Ice Heart pill in order to create a true Ice Heart. This is also the reason why we said that we need to find a third-grade pill refiner, and above. That Ice Heart pill is a third-level pill? Lin Yi realized why refiners were so important to the Ice Palace. Yes, Qing nodded, but even though it's a third-level pill, it's extremely difficult to make. Even a fourth-level refiner might not be able to make it. Chapter 1540. Persuasion, Part 2. This elixir has very strict requirements for controlling the fire. It also restricts the alchemist to have a fire attribute elixir fire as the main elixir fire, and an ice attribute elixir fire as a supplement. However, ice and fire are incompatible. If a fire attribute alchemist wants to cultivate an ice attribute elixir fire, it is very difficult. And to raise the ice-type pill fire to the same level as the fire-type pill fire is as difficult as ascending to the heavens. I see. It seems like not only do I have to work hard to become a third-level alchemist, I also have to train in the Ice Heart pill. Lin Yi couldn't help but smile bitterly. There's no need for that. With Xiao Xiao in the Ice Palace, the sect master doesn't need to use the Ice Heart pill anymore. One inheritor is enough. Qing said, you don't have to worry too much about it. Just let Xiao Xiao join the Ice Palace. Wait. Lin Yi felt that something wasn't right, and asked Qing seriously, Senior, if I may ask, what are the benefits of being the inheritor of the Ice Palace? Why is one inheritor enough? Does the sect master not want to be an inheritor? That Qing didn't think that her words of comfort to Lin Yi would connect so many things, and it seemed like Lin Yi was starting to get suspicious. But she couldn't tell Lin Yi about inheritors, so she said, the sect master naturally wants to be an inheritor, but because of her body, she can't accept the inheritance of the Ice Mountain. So while we're looking for someone else, we're also looking for alchemists. This is just a backup plan. As for becoming an inheritor, apart from making the path of cultivation easier and faster, they would also have an advantage over ordinary heaven rank experts when breaking through to the heaven rank. It would be easier for them to break through the barrier and enter the heaven Dao. Then you haven't found anyone with a cold body yet? Lin Yi felt like something wasn't right, but he couldn't put his finger on it. Not only did I not find anyone with the Yin cold body, I did not even see anyone with the icy heart jade bone physique. Little Qing smiled bitterly and said, usually this kind of physique is hereditary in nature. Some are inherited from one generation to the next, and some are inherited only a few generations apart. If these families don't have cultivators, or don't have cultivators who know about ice mental cultivation methods, then they won't be able to discover these abnormalities. We can't go and find people to screen them one by one, can we? I see. Then, what's with the Ice Palace Master's fake ice heart jade bones? Lin Yi asked. The fake icy heart jade bone is actually not completely inherited, only a part of it. Little Qing said. Therefore, this type of physique must be refined with heavenly treasures to supplement and refine it. Only then can it display the same effect as the icy heart jade bone physique. Then, if it's hereditary, why didn't you go to the Ice Palace Master's family and see if there's anyone else with this body type? Lin Yi had to keep asking questions to figure out the Ice Palace's true intentions. The Ice Palace Master is an abandoned baby. What family does she have? Little Qing smiled bitterly. We wanted to look for her, but there's a sea of people out there. Where would we go? I see. Lin Yi nodded. He didn't expect the sect master to have such a pitiful life. That's it, Little Qing said. And Xiao Xiao's body type is even more special than the ice heart jade bone. There's a large amount of cold energy in her body. So much so that it's almost unbelievable. At her age, she already possesses so much cold yin qi. If she can refine this cold yin qi, her future will be limitless. What happens if I don't let her join the Ice Palace? Lin Yi asked. That'd be harming her. The cold energy in her body is suppressed by the Ice Palace Master and Elder, but it won't last long. Little Qing said. Once the cold energy breaks free again and invades her heart and spleen, she will fall unconscious again. Then what about the fire spirit's fruit? Lin Yi asked. It's only temporary. Little Qing said. If the yin spirit chi in her body was not this much, she would be able to suppress it for a few decades after taking the fire spirit's fruit. But the yin spirit chi in her body is too much. It is almost equivalent to the amount of innate chi in a heaven stage expert's body. Even if she took the fire spirit's fruit, she would still be unconscious after a year. Lin Yi's eyes went wide, feeling regret and self-blame. Xiao Xiao didn't have that much cold energy in her body, but after that he'd given her qi a couple times, and all the qi that was absorbed by her got swallowed up by the cold energy in her body, making it stronger and stronger. If it weren't for Lin Yi's qi, perhaps the fruit would be able to suppress the cold energy for many years. But then, what if I don't accept the inheritance and just let her train in the Ice Palace? Lin Yi felt that there was a hint of a conspiracy behind the inheritance, and it made Lin Yi feel uneasy. The training speed won't be faster than the inheritance. Moreover, what our Ice Palace needs is a successor. Little Qing said. Qing's words made Lin Yi's heart tighten. It seemed that there was a problem with this inheritor. Otherwise, if the Ice Palace really wanted Xiao Xiao's amazing body, then she could train however she wanted. Why did they have to make her an inheritor? Instinctively, Lin Yi felt that Qing was hiding something from him. But evidently, Qing didn't want to talk about it. She was avoiding the topic, and Lin Yi couldn't ask her directly. After all, Qing had been helping him from the shadows the whole time, and Lin Yi was very grateful for that. Lin Yi didn't want to break up this relationship. He knew that Qing would tell him everything she could, but there were some things she couldn't tell him. There was no need for Lin Yi to force her to explain. If that was the case, then Lin Yi would just ask the sect head if she couldn't give him a satisfactory answer. Then Lin Yi wouldn't let Xiao Xiao accept the inheritance easily. I understand. Let me see Xiao Xiao first. Lin Yi nodded. Of course. With that, Qing brought Lin Yi to the courtyard of a guest room. She said to Lin Yi, "It's inside. The sect master is here too." Lin Yi followed Qing into the guest room. And as expected, Xiao Xiao was in high spirits talking to the Ice Palace Master about something. The Ice Palace Master, on the other hand, had a helpless look on her face as she sat beside Xiao Xiao, nodding her head occasionally. Chapter 1541. The sect master felt a bit helpless. At the very beginning, she was the one trying to convince Xiao Xiao to join the Ice Palace, but in order to find common topics, she couldn't help but talk about Lin Yi a bit more. But after she finished talking about Lin Yi's performance in the test, Xiao Xiao started talking about other things about Lin Yi. The sect master had no choice but to listen to Xiao Xiao's story with Lin Yi. It was touching, but the sect master wasn't thinking about that at all. She was thinking about how to keep Xiao Xiao here. Xiao Xiao, you're really awake. Lin Yi was very happy to see the energetic Xiao Xiao. % net. Wah, Lin Yi honey, you're really here. Xiao Xiao jumped off the bed and ran to Lin Yi, jumping into his arms and hanging onto Lin Yi like a koala. Lin Yi sighed as he looked at the lively Xiao Xiao. Everything before felt like a dream, and Xiao Xiao didn't seem to have fainted at all. Thank you, Lin Yi honey. Xiao Xiao pecked Lin Yi on the cheek. Thank you for everything you've done for me. I'm very happy. It's worth dying for. The sect master was speechless at Xiao Xiao's words. The ones who saved you were the first elder and me. All right? After you woke up, I tried so hard to get close to you, but you didn't give me the cold shoulder. Lin Yi was here, and that was it. But at the same time, she understood. It seemed that convincing Lin Yi was the main point. Aunt Qing, does he know our Ice Palace's intentions? The Ice Palace master asked little Qing. Sky-class experts had a very powerful ability, and that was the ability to transmit their voice to the person who wanted to hear it. They could condense their voice into qi and transmit it to the person who wanted to hear it. This was the legendary qi transformation. Only Sky-class masters could do this. However, this technique used up a lot of qi, and under normal circumstances, no one would use it casually. But this time, they were discussing Xiao Xiao, and the sect master had no choice but to use it. I know, but I didn't agree, nor did I refuse. Little Qing also used the secret language to reply. Qi transmission. Lin Yi frowned as he felt the energy ripple around him. He could guess what the sect master and Xiao Qing were doing. You noticed? The sect master was truly shocked by Lin Yi. If Lin Yi was a sky class, it wouldn't be strange for him to notice her and Xiao Qing's transformation. There were even stronger sky class masters who could intercept the transformation, but Lin Yi was just a mystic. No matter how strong he was, there was no way he could sense the transformational qi. I noticed, but I don't know what you're planning. Lin Yi said faintly, looking at the sect master with an unfriendly gaze. Lin Yi was very sensitive to the movement of pure qi. This might be due to his practitioner's arts, but it was also the reason why Lin Yi was able to detect his opponent's true strength when they didn't use their arts to release pure qi. Otherwise, when practitioners were hiding their strength, they wouldn't leak out their qi, and other practitioners wouldn't be able to sense someone else's strength. As for low-level cultivators, even if they did not release their true qi in front of high-level cultivators, they could hide their true qi and secretly circulate their inner force mantra. The high-level cultivator would still be able to discover their true strength, unless the situation was reversed, where the high-level practitioners didn't release their qi and instead secretly used their arts. The low-level practitioners wouldn't be able to detect it. Qi transformational. You saw through it. You have some skills. The sect master looked at Lin Yi, a little surprised the more she interacted with Lin Yi. The more she realized how mysterious Lin Yi was. This weak, mystic class master in her eyes was able to do things that made her drop her jaw. Qi transformational. Lin Yi frowned. So this is called Qi transformational. Lin Yi muttered to himself. He found the secret message quite interesting. He turned the energy in his body into a voice and sent it to the Ice Palace. Cold girl, is this how it should be? What did you call me? The sect master gritted her teeth at the way Lin Yi had called her. What did I call you? Lin Yi didn't think that his experiment would work, but of course he wouldn't admit that he'd said anything. This was a Sky class late phase peak. It wasn't a joke when she got angry. The sect master naturally couldn't repeat Lin Yi's words, but under Xiao Xiao and Xiao Qing's surprised gazes, she suddenly realized that Lin Yi could use a secret message as well. She didn't care about what Lin Yi said before. You can transformational chi transformational too? So this is the manifestation of pure chi? Lin Yi shrugged. It sounds pretty simple. Simple. The sect master didn't know what to say anymore. Transformational chi was something only Sky class masters could do, but that didn't mean that all Sky class masters could do it. Only practitioners like the sect master and Xiaoqing could do this, but Lin Yi had done it so easily. This was a huge blow to the sect master. That's right. Isn't that it? Lin Yi turned his words into pure chi and sent it to the sect master. To Lin Yi, this was a bit of a trick because Lin Yi's art of dragon mastery was an all-purpose energy transformation. It could transform energy into all sorts of forms. And so for Lin Yi, turning words into chi was a very easy thing to do, but didn't cost him a single bit of energy. This was because this true energy was transformed from the sound of words and was not actually condensed from the true energy in one's body. That's right. When you used your chi to destroy my walls, you used chi transformation. I didn't think too much about it, but now that I think about it, you were still quite a distance away from my walls, so you must have used chi transformational, the sect master side. Before, Lin Yi had used compressed chi to destroy Naipeo's meridians and Niqian's body. This wasn't all that surprising. Because Lin Yi hadn't used chi transformation, the sect master was surprised, but it wasn't all that surprising. Chapter 1542. I'll accompany you for the rest of your life. You can say that, Lin Yi said. The sect master finally realized that Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao's talent was simply insane. She didn't know what Lin Yi's talent was, but he was definitely more talented than the geniuses of the ancient sects. Of course. Even so, the sect master didn't have any intentions of coveting him. No matter how strong Lin Yi was, he wasn't suited for the arts of the Ice Palace. Only Xiao Xiao was someone they wanted to get on their side. If you can tell, then tell me the truth. I was just asking if Ani Qing told you about our Ice Palace wanting to take Xiao Xiao as a disciple. The sect leader said, I saw you two being so intimate just now, so I didn't want to disturb you. I said that I did, but you didn't give me a clear answer. Qing said. Lin Yi nodded. The sect master saying that she didn't want to disturb them was just an excuse, but judging from the way she was talking to Qing, Lin Yi knew that they weren't lying. That was probably what they were talking about. The sect master wasn't a liar, and there was no reason for her to lie. Lin Yi didn't say anything else. I understand. Can I talk to Xiao Xiao alone? Of course. The sect master nodded and pulled Qing out of the room, letting Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao discuss. It first was the best way. Once they came to a conclusion, the sect master wouldn't need to say anything else. After the two left, Xiao Xiao jumped onto Lin Yi and hugged Lin Yi, not letting go. Lin Yi, honey, I've missed you so much. It's like I've been dreaming for a long, long time. I was afraid I wouldn't wake up. How could that be? I told you that I could save you. Lin Yi patted her back with a smile. How do you feel now? I feel much better. Not as cold as before, Xiao Xiao said. That's good. Lin Yi put Xiao Xiao down and hugged her softly. He suddenly felt blissful at this moment. The two had been through life and death, and they both cherished this feeling. Right, Lin Yi, honey, that sect master said that she wants to take me in as a disciple on behalf of her master. Xiao Xiao looked up at Lin Yi, her eyes filled with love and reluctance. She'd been saying ohs to the sect master, but she was a smart girl. Naturally, she knew that staying in the Ice Palace was her only choice if she wanted to live. Although, if Lin Yi told her to go back to Songshan right now, she'd go back without a second thought. But the sect master saying that she'd stay with Lin Yi for the rest of her life still moved her. Yes, Lin Yi was a practitioner, and if life could really be extended, she'd die a long time ago. Lin Yi was so pointless. Tang Yun, Meng Yao, and Yushu were all not practitioners. And so Xiao Xiao wanted to stay with Lin Yi forever and ever. Yeah, I know. Do you want to join the Ice Palace then? Lin Yi took a deep breath. This was a topic he had to face. After all, it decided Xiao Xiao's life and death, and he couldn't avoid it. I don't know. She said that my body is very suitable for the Ice Palace's practitioner arts, Xiao Xiao said. But if I don't train, I might die. Then did she tell you about the legacy? Lin Yi asked. She did, saying that my body can inherit the Ice Mountain's knowledge and break through to Sky class. Xiao Xiao nodded. I asked Elder Qing before if you could stay here and train your practitioner arts, but the Ice Palace wanted you to accept the legacy. Lin Yi paused. I keep feeling like there's some kind of scheme going on here. Why do they want you to be the inheritor? What's the point of being an inheritor to the Ice Palace? Scheme? But the sect master said that she tried it before, but failed. Xiao Xiao said, if she tried it too, then there shouldn't be a scheme, right? But inheritors are very important to them. That's for sure. Lin Yi agreed with Xiao Xiao's analysis. Indeed, if there really was a scheme, why would the sect master try it herself? But even so, Lin Yi still felt uneasy. Then what do you think? Lin Yi lowered his head and looked at Xiao Xiao, asking solemnly, tell me your true thoughts. I want to hear what you think. I want to be with you forever. Xiao Xiao lowered her head, embarrassed by Lin Yi's gaze. But I'm not a practitioner. They said that if you reach Sky class, your lifespan will be extended. I understand. Lin Yi hugged Xiao Xiao. Lin Yi had actually made up his mind a long time ago. He just wanted to see what Xiao Xiao thought. No matter why the Ice Palace wanted Xiao Xiao to be their inheritor, Lin Yi had to make her stay. This was her only hope. There was no other way. The only thing left was how to negotiate with the Ice Palace. Although Lin Yi knew that the Ice Palace had about 80% confidence that he could make Xiao Xiao stay, as long as there was a sliver of uncertainty, Lin Yi would have the chance to ask the Ice Palace for help. Actually, I respect your decision. If you want me to agree, I'll agree. Xiao Xiao said. If you don't want me to agree, I'll go back with you. Lin Yi was very touched by Xiao Xiao's words. He held on to Xiao Xiao's hand, remembering a saying, hold your hand, grow old with you, life and death, a promise made to you. Xiao Xiao held on to Lin Yi's hand as well. Even if I die, I'll be with you. Ha! We'll talk to the Ice Palace people now. Lin Yi said, just play along with me later. Yeah, don't worry, I'll play along. Xiao Xiao nodded and pointed at the pig by Lin Yi's feet. Right? What's this little thing? An ancient spirit beast. It brought me here to find the fire spirit's fruit. Lin Yi said, this little guy has a sharp nose for treasures. I see. It's cute. With that, Xiao Xiao reached out to touch the pig. Lin Yi quickly kicked the pig. If you hurt her, I'll kick you to death. Oink oink. The pig felt wronged. Chapter 1543. Please tell the truth. Xiao Xiao bent down and patted the pig, losing interest very quickly. She'd just seen Lin Yi, and all her attention was on Lin Yi. She wasn't in the mood to play with a pig. So, after asking what this little thing was, she went back to Lin Yi. The two hugged each other again. They both knew that perhaps it wouldn't be so easy to see each other again. And so, they cherished this beautiful moment. All right, let's go, let's go. Lin Yi said as he let go of her. Okay. Xiao Xiao held onto Lin Yi's hand, not wanting to let go. The two walked out of the room, but the sect master and Qing weren't there. Lin Yi was puzzled when he raised his head to see two figures, one green and one white, flying over. Evidently, the two had walked far away and didn't eavesdrop on Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao's conversation. Now that they saw Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao walking out, they came back. Lin Yi was quite impressed by how straightforward these two were. It seemed like the Ice Palace wasn't the type to stoop so low as to stoop so low. Palace Master, Elder Qing. Lin Yi cupped his fists and said, "Thank you for saving Xiao Xiao. Thank you for waking her up." "It's nothing," the the sect master said faintly with a wave of her hand. How did your discussion go? Any results? Of course, but before that I need to understand some things. I hope you can tell me the truth. Sect master. Lin Yi said, what do you want to know? The sect master frowned at Lin Yi's attitude. He'd been so humble when he asked for the fruit, and now he was talking to her in a questioning tone. It pissed her off, and she wanted to show Lin Yi who he was, to let him know his strength. And so, a powerful aura rose around the sect master, aimed at Lin Yi. Lin Yi felt a bone-chilling coldness all the way to his meridians. But Lin Yi didn't back down this time. He put Xiao Xiao behind him and raised his head proudly, looking straight at the sect master. He didn't look like he was going to give up. The coldness made Lin Yi shiver, but Lin Yi still used the art of dragon mastery to try and get rid of it. This was the first time Lin Yi looked the sect master in the eye. He'd seen her before, but he didn't dare stare at her like this. It was at this moment that Lin Yi realized that the Ice Palace master was even prettier than he'd seen her before. The weird thing was, she looked familiar to him, as if he'd seen her somewhere before, but that was just an intuition. And upon closer inspection, he was sure that he'd never seen her before. Seeing how Lin Yi stared at her fearlessly, even putting Xiao Xiao behind him, the sect master understood how much Lin Yi cared about Xiao Xiao. He'd even go against her, a sky class for Xiao Xiao. Of course, the sect master didn't do anything to Lin Yi. Her goal was to get Xiao Xiao to join the Ice Palace. After all, if she really started a fight with Lin Yi now, it wouldn't be rational, and things would get out of hand. Since that didn't work, the sect master retracted her aura, and all of a sudden, the coldness on Lin Yi's body disappeared, replaced by a comfortable feeling. Fu dash, Lin Yi let out a breath of relief before letting Xiao Xiao out. Sky class was different. After all, just the pressure from their aura alone was enough to crush a weak-willed mystic. You don't need to block her. My coldness won't affect her. With that, the sect master turned and walked into the guest room. What do you want to ask? Come in. I'll tell you. Not bad, kid. Qing was praising Lin even more, patting him on the shoulder. You're the first person to provoke the sect mistress. Even the elders and sect masters of the other ancient sects didn't dare to do so. For Xiao Xiao, I had no choice. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Luckily, Lin Yi knew that with Xiao Xiao here, the Ice Palace wouldn't really go against him. Otherwise, Lin Yi wouldn't be in a stalemate with a sky class. The group entered the guest room, and the sect master looked at Lin Yi before looking at Xiao Xiao. Do it, since I'm taking in a disciple on behalf of my master. I'll be Xiao Xiao's senior sister from now on. You don't need to call me sect master anymore. Let me introduce myself. I'm Rock Candy. You can call me senior sister or Ice Sis. Rock Candy? Lin Yi paused. What a cute name. But he didn't see any hint of sweetness from the sect master at all. She was definitely ice. It's too early to talk about this. I need to figure out a few things before I can hand Xiao Xiao over to you, Lin Yi said. Otherwise, even if we die, we'll die together. All right, ask away. The sect master nodded and said to Lin Yi, the Ice Palace values Xiao Xiao so much just because she has a cold constitution? Lin Yi asked. Yes, the sect master said with certainty. Then why do you have to give her the inheritance and not let her train normally? Lin Yi asked. With her constitution, the inheritance will allow her to reach sky class faster. Even a genius with an ice practitioner's arts and treasures wouldn't be that fast. The sect master said, I've been training since I was young, and I only reached sky class late phase peak when I was 18. That's already very fast. What if I insist on not giving her the inheritance and only let her train normally? Lin Yi's face showed a look of determination. Then you'll only hurt her, the sect master said. You'll turn a genius into a cripple? Is that so? Lin Yi said faintly. I only know that there's no such thing as a free lunch. There's no such thing as love without a reason. You value Xiao Xiao and want her to inherit, not just because of her talent, right? Otherwise, why would you insist on not letting her train? So I advise the sect master to tell the truth. The sect master and Qing looked at each other. The sect master sighed and nodded. And Qing, I think it's better if you do it. What we're doing is for a reason. Qing said after getting the sect master's approval, we, the Ice Palace, need an inheritor to do something for us. What is it? Lin Yi's face froze. As expected, there was something going on. It seemed like his guess was right. Chapter 1544. Chapter 1543. The Promised Sky Class Meeting. The sect master said, Have you heard of it? Sky Class Meeting? Linny paused and shook his head. He hadn't heard of this before, but he had heard of the Noble House meeting. That's right, it's the Sky Class Meeting. The sect master said, The Sky Class Meeting, as the name suggests, is a meeting for all Sky Class Masters, and the Ice Palace is one of the 4 main sections. What does this have to do with the inheritors? Isn't the Sky Class Meeting open to all Sky Class Masters? Lin Yi asked. That's not true. That's for the other sects and noble houses, not the main ones. The sect master shook her head. Legend has it that there's a Sky Class island, and on that island, one can understand the laws of the world and break through to Sky Class. The key to opening the island lies in the inheritors of the 4 main sects. Only the inheritors of the 4 main sects can open the door to the island. Oh, you're saying that you want Xiao Xiao to open that island for you guys? Linny frowned. That's it. The sect master nodded. This is a secret. Even the Sky Class Masters of the other sects can't know about it. Only the 4 main sects know about it. But since you're Xiao Xiao's boyfriend, I don't want to hide it from you. Opening the island. How do you do it? Will it be dangerous? Linny frowned. I don't think so, the sect master said, but I won't hide it from you. The information we have is from the older generation of the sections. I don't know the language, but their generation all disappeared. Even if we wanted to ask them, we wouldn't be able to find them. I think so. Lin Yi nodded. The sect master wasn't trying to hide anything from him. She wouldn't have needed to add that last line at all. What else do you know? Tell me everything. I only know that the only way to break through to the heaven rank is to ascend to the heaven island. The sect master sighed and smiled bitterly. Back then, I heard that something big happened. That person from the hidden house council visited all the Sky Class Masters and gathered them together to discuss something big. My master was one of them. Oh, what is it? Lin Yi asked. Master didn't say, and at that time, I was still very young. Master only left a letter and left with the Grand Elder in a hurry. It seemed that he had something important to do. From then on, there was no news of Master, and that group of people also disappeared. What? In Lin Yi's mind, a familiar scene suddenly flashed. When he was 6 years old, his master also suddenly told him that he was going to do something big, and then disappeared. Could it be that his master was also related to that big thing? Lin Yi wasn't sure, but this was too much of a coincidence. Lin Yi couldn't help but wonder if there was some unknown connection between all of this. After that, Lin Yi left his master's house and lived with old Lin. Lin Yi also asked old Lin about his master, but old Lin said that he was too weak and couldn't reach that level yet, and rejected him. Actually, Lin Yi thought about it later. Old Lin loved him, and he didn't want him to live a homeless life, so he wouldn't let him do anything too dangerous. However, this last mission in Songshan was beyond his imagination. It was originally a simple bodyguard mission, but it made Lin Yi walk on a completely different path. Lin Yi still didn't know how this mission came about. Old Lin didn't say. Perhaps it was because the time wasn't right yet. But Lin Yi didn't regret it, because this mission gave him the true meaning of life. In Songshan, he had friendships, love, career, dreams, and pursuits. Although every day was filled with danger, it was a fulfilling life. What's wrong? The sect master asked. Did your master leave 13 years ago? Lin E asked. The sect master's expression froze as she looked at Lin E in shock. How did you know? Was it really 13 years ago? Lin E smiled bitterly. I'm afraid that my master left because of this. You? You have a master? Aren't you a solo practitioner? The sect master asked. Master left, and I'm the only one left. Doesn't that make me a solo practitioner? Lin E said. You don't have a sect? Only one master? The sect master was even more shocked. Your master is also a sky class? I don't know if he's a sky class or not. Lin E shook his head. If that's the case, then you don't know about Sky Class Island? The sect master asked. He didn't tell you to go there after you broke through? No. Lin E said. Maybe he left in a hurry and didn't tell me anything. That's possible as well. Actually, I only told Aunt Ching about it later on. I was only 6 at the time, and I didn't really understand these things. All I knew was to train every day. The sect master sighed. But that's all I know. I've told you everything now. So you're saying that this mission might be dangerous, or it might not be. Everything is unknown, right? Lin E asked. You could say that. The sect master nodded. What do you think? Have you thought it through? How about this? You wait for me for 2 years. In these 2 years, don't let Xiao Xiao receive the inheritance. Just let her practice normal arts. If I really become a 3rd-level refiner and above and can make the ice heart jade bone pellet, then I'll make one for you, and you'll receive the inheritance. What do you think? Lin E pondered for a while and gave his opinion. What if you can't become a level 3 alchemist or higher? The sect master asked. Then I'll accept the legacy. Xiao Xiao spoke up at this time. No, there won't be enough time. Sky Class Island opens in these 2 years if you don't have the ice heart pill. And let Xiao Xiao accept the legacy. Then there won't be enough time. The sect master said, she's different from me, she doesn't have the strength, and I'm Sky Class late phase peak. After she accepts the legacy, she'll need to digest it herself to break through. Then what do you think we should do? Linny said, if I really make the ice heart pill in 2 years, I won't let her inherit it. Lin Yi's words were very straightforward. He didn't care if the Ice Palace Master was in danger after receiving the inheritance, but Xiao Xiao was out of the question. Chapter 1545. Chapter 1544. Accepting a disciple, let her accept the legacy first. If you successfully make the pill, then I'll accept the legacy as well. The sect master said, are you satisfied with that? You accept the legacy as well. Isn't there only one inheritor? Linny blinked. Who told you that? The sect master asked. Did I say that? No. Linny shook his head. But isn't that usually the case? No, there can't only be one inheritor. Many inheritors working together will increase the chances of opening Sky Class Island. The sect master said, all right, if that's what you say, then of course. Lin E nodded after hearing the explanation. Give me the recipe for the ice element refinement fire and the recipe for the ice heart pill. Lin E didn't have a reason to say no. Lin E really didn't want Xiao Xiao to be part of this island opening plan. It sounded dangerous, but if Lin E didn't agree, the Ice Palace wouldn't keep saving Xiao Xiao and letting her train here. Just like Lin E said, there was no such thing as love without a reason. If Xiao Xiao wanted to stay here, she had to pay a price, and Lin E couldn't just take all the benefits. And so, the fact that Lin E was able to get to where he was right now was already surprising. As long as Lin E could make the Ice Heart Jade Bone Pill within 2 years, he'd be able to trade for Xiao Xiao's safety. Sure, I'll get Aunt Ching to give it to you later. The sect master didn't hide it. These were all Ice Palace secrets, but since Lin E was Xiao Xiao's boyfriend, and Xiao Xiao was staying in the Ice Palace, these secrets weren't secrets anymore. Can I come visit Xiao Xiao while she's training here? Lin E asked. No, unless she breaks through to Sky class after accepting the legacy, or you make the ice heart pill. The sect master said, I don't want you to disturb her meditation. You should know that I'm doing this for her own good. All right. Lin Yi clenched his fist and said, I will become a third-grade alchemist as soon as possible and refine the ice heart jade bone pill for you. Even if you make the pill and can come see her, I still have to warn you before she reaches Sky class, do not cross the lightning pool. Once she loses her virginity, she won't be able to reach Sky class for the rest of her life. The sect leader said faintly, don't regret it for the rest of your life because of a moment of happiness. Of course, I understand. Lin Yi nodded solemnly. He knew that the sect master was doing this for Xiao Xiao's sake. Then me and Lin Yi honey-kissing, touching, and hugging are fine, right? Xiao Xiao interrupted. Ah. The sect master paused and couldn't help but smile at Xiao Xiao's question. A smile appeared on her cold face. That's up to you. Lin Yi didn't know if he should be laughing or crying at Xiao Xiao's actions, shaking his head. Don't worry, Lin Yi, honey. Xiao Xiao will break through to Sky class as soon as possible. I won't make you wait too long. Xiao Xiao said seriously. All right, I'll wait for you. Lin Yi smiled. Since it's decided, it's better to do it sooner rather than later. I'll gather all the elders of the Ice Palace and start the incense ceremony to accept a disciple on behalf of Master. The sect master said, Xiao Xiao, you'll be my little junior sister from now on. Oh. Xiao Xiao didn't seem too happy now that it was finished. She was about to part ways with Lin Yi, and it made her sad. But she was happy that she could live on again. And she had the chance to become a practitioner, staying with Lin Yi for the rest of his life. That's settled. But there's something else. The fire spirit's fruit, you can give me one now, right? Lin Yi asked. What do you need it for? Xiao Xiao doesn't need it here. The sect master looked at Lin Yi curiously. Xiao Xiao's mother has the same type, and she needs the fruit to heal her. Lin Yi said, Colding type as well? The sect master's eyes lit up as if she'd found some treasure. Then, should we let her train in the Ice Palace as well? Can she still train? Didn't you say that she can't lose her virginity? Lin Yi asked. Ah, lose what? The sect master blinked. Of course, if she doesn't lose her virginity, where would Xiao Xiao come from? Lin Yi realized that this sect master was a little dumb. Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't think of that. The sect leader felt a little awkward. She hadn't experienced the things between a man and a woman, and the Ice Palace was full of women. So she didn't have much knowledge in that area. She only knew a little about it, and that was why she almost made a fool out of herself. Mom can be saved? Xiao Xiao's eyes were wide with joy. Can she? Will Mom wake up after eating the fire spirit's fruit? In theory, yes. Lin Yi said, if it wasn't for the fact that we're not in a rush to use the fruit, I wouldn't recommend it. At this time, the sect master spoke. Xiao Xiao, your mother's training is hard, but she still has the cold energy inside her. Once you become a Sky class master, you can help her get rid of it and use it for yourself. It'll be killing two birds with one stone, and there won't be any side effects. It'll be much safer than the fire spirit's fruit. Oh, then can you save my mom? Bing sis? Help her dissolve the cold energy in her body? Xiao Xiao quickly asked. I can't, and even if I could, I'd be suppressing it. The sect master shook her head. I'm a Sky class, but our bodies are different. The cold energy in my body is different. Only you two have the same coldness. So that's how it is. Xiao Xiao nodded solemnly. Then I'll train hard and try to break through to Sky class as soon as possible to cure Mom. Xiao Xiao knew that her mother was in the coffin, so she wasn't in a rush. It wasn't long before Qing returned with a small booklet in her hand. She handed it to Lin Yi after entering the guest room. This is the refinement method for the ice element refinement fire, and the recipe for the ice heart jade bone pill. I'm giving it to you. Don't tell anyone else. Don't worry, Senior. I'll keep this a secret. Lin Yi said solemnly after taking the book. All right, Since Xiao Xiao's in the Ice Palace now, you can call me Aunt Qing as well. There's no need to be so polite. Qing was a very kind person and easy to talk to. All right, Aunt Qing. Lin Yi quickly corrected himself. Xiao Xiao, Lin Yi, I'll go prepare for the disciple acceptance ceremony. I'll stay here with you. With that, the sect master left the room. Chapter 1546. Hard to see. Haha. You two get to know each other. Young lovers always have endless topics to talk about. Qing sighed, as if reminiscing about something. With that, she left the room with the sect master. Only Lin, Yi, and Xiao Xiao were left in the room. Linny, honey, you won't forget about Xiao Xiao when you go back, right? Xiao Xiao fell into Lin Yi's embrace. A little sad. I'm afraid that 2 years will dilute our feelings. How could that be? We've been through so much together. It's not an exaggeration to say that we're lovers of life and death. How could I forget about you? Lin Yi smiled. I'm more worried that you'll become like that rock candy after you practice that ice practitioner's arts. Always cold. Hee, that won't happen. Xiao Xiao said. Right, Tang Yun sis, Yao Yao sis, and my old partner, are they doing well? Yeah, they're great. It's almost time for the exams, but you won't be able to participate. Lin Yi sighed. But no matter what, it's good that you're still alive. Plus, you'll become a Sky class. Yeah, when you see Xiao Xiao again, she'll be a Sky class already. Xiao Xiao sighed. It's unbelievable. I can't believe I can become a practitioner. Life is like that, full of surprises, and when you're at the end of your rope, things will turn around. Lin Yi said. It seems that I need to work hard as well. Sky class, I can't let my woman surpass me. Can I? Male chauvinist. Xiao Xiao stuck her tongue out and made a face. Ha ha, I'm just joking. Lin Yi laughed as well. Lin Yi, honey, hug me again. I want to feel it and remember it forever. Xiao Xiao said. Yeah. Lin Yi hugged Xiao Xiao. The two didn't say anything, quietly enjoying this moment of warmth and peacefulness. Sometimes the connection of the heart was better than any words. Time ticked by, and little Qing appeared at the door of the guest room again. Xiao Xiao, the master-disciple ceremony is ready. You're going to go officially. With that, Qing turned to Lin Yi. Lin Yi, I'm going to send you out of the ice palace. Ah, that's fast. Xiao Xiao didn't want Lin Yi to leave so soon, grabbing onto Lin Yi tightly. When little Qing saw how reluctant they were to part, she was filled with endless emotions. All right, Xiao Xiao, 2 years isn't a long time. Besides, who knows, I might be able to make the ice heart jade bone pill within 2 years. Lin Yi patted Xiao Xiao's back and said to her, yeah. Only then did Xiao Xiao let go of Lin Yi, but her expression was one of endless longing. If two people love each other for a long time, why would they stay together day and night? Lin Yi looked at Xiao Xiao one last time. Xiao Xiao, take care, I'm leaving. Yeah. Xiao Xiao nodded. The sect master walked in, as well, rushing her. Xiao Xiao, come with me. We're all waiting for you. Oh, Xiao Xiao didn't have a choice. She could only follow the sect master to the door, but she kept turning back every few steps. Be happy, train hard, and break through to Sky class soon. There should be a lot of treasures in the Ice Palace. You can eat some when you get there. It's free. Lin Yi was worried that Xiao Xiao would be sad, so he couldn't help but joke around. All right, I'll definitely eat a lot. If I can't, I'll hide it all and leave it for you, Xiao Xiao said. The sect master almost tripped after hearing the two's conversation. Did these two think the Ice Palace was their backyard? She knew that it was mostly a joke, but it was still quite shocking, seeing Xiao Xiao's figure disappear into the distance. Lin Yi left the room with Qing and walked towards the exit of the Ice Palace. Lin Yi, this is as far as I can send you. Go down the mountain yourself. Qing walked Lin Yi to the door and said to Lin Yi, you need to work hard. Don't let Xiao Xiao overtake you. I know. Thanks for the reminder. Aunt Ching. With that, Lin Yi picked up Skybolt Pig. Lin Yi would have to move fast after this, and Skybolt Pig might not be able to keep up. This little thing's pretty cute. What kind of spirit beast is it? Ching looked at the little thing in Lin Yi's arms. I don't know. I heard it's called Skybolt Pig. Lin Yi didn't explain too much about Skybolt Pig's abilities. Ching was a trustworthy person, but Lin Yi still understood the concept of having a treasure get in trouble. It was best if fewer people knew about a spirit beast like this. Ching nodded and didn't ask any more questions. Lin Yi turned around and left, running down the snowy mountain. When he reached the foot of the mountain, Lin Yi looked up at the mountaintop again. The snowy mountain was empty, and even the patrolling disciples were nowhere to be seen. Perhaps they'd all gone to Xiao Xiao's disciple ceremony. The sect master accepting a disciple on behalf of the master was a huge event for the Ice Palace. No less than a grand celebration, it made sense that everyone from the Ice Palace would be there. Lin Yi could almost see Xiao Xiao's hand being held by crystal candy, kowtowing to the painting of the Ice Palace Grandmaster. He could almost see the determination in Xiao Xiao's eyes, the determination to become a sky class. Xiao Xiao chose to stay, not only to cure her illness, but also to be with Lin Yi forever. Lin Yi sighed softly. Perhaps they wouldn't see each other for a long time. Although the Ice Palace treated Xiao Xiao like a treasure, that didn't mean they treated Lin Yi the same way. They were treating him with respect only because of Xiao Xiao. Otherwise, a mystic like him wouldn't be worth much in their eyes. And so Lin Yi knew where he stood before he became a third-level refiner, or until Xiao Xiao became a sky class and gained full control of the Ice Palace. Lin Yi wouldn't step foot on Ice Mountain again. He'd already said those arrogant words, and there was no way Lin Yi would shamelessly come to the Ice Palace and ask to see Xiao Xiao. At least Lin Yi knew that Xiao Xiao wouldn't be in any danger before she went to do that big thing. The Ice Palace would treasure her dearly, and that was enough. The rest of the time was up to Lin Yi to improve himself. At the thought, Lin Yi couldn't help but smile bitterly. First of the mystic class. If he were the first of the sky class, would Miss Cole treat him like this? At that time, no matter what he said, little cold girl would have to listen. Chapter 1547. It was Lin Yi. Even if he'd let Xiao Xiao accept the inheritance and not do that big thing, that cold girl wouldn't have dared complain. At the end of the day, it was all because he wasn't strong enough. Piglet, let's go back. Lin Yi took one last look at the mountain before walking back to the town. Oink, oink. Skybolt Pig knew what was going on and comforted Lin Yi. Ah, little guy, the three of us came here together. And now only two of us have gone back. But don't worry, we'll come back one day. Lin Yi said firmly. Oink, oink. Skybolt Pig seemed to trust Lin Yi very much. In Songshan, in Lingshan's office, Lu Wangli handed a technical report to Lingshan. Captain Song, this is the result of the technical department's reconstruction of the license plate number from the surveillance footage. The plate number is TT000. TT000. Lingshan paused. The plate number wasn't bad, and it felt familiar. Is it a real plate? Could it be a fake? I don't know if it's a fake or not, but I've already gotten a file from the traffic police. This plate number is classified, and it's assigned to a special department. I don't have enough authority to check it, so I'm afraid you'll have to check it yourself to find out where it came from. Oh. Lingshan paused, but nodded. All right, I'll check it out right now. If I don't have enough authority, I'll have to report it to Director Yang and ask him for help. With that, Lingshan turned on the computer on her desk and logged into the system, entering her account and password. Fortunately, Lingshan's authority was enough, and the screen showed the plate number right away. TT000 is from Songshan's Supernatural Investigation Department, and the car's local plate number is FX520. Ling Shan felt even weirder at the point that TT000 from before had felt familiar. And this FX520 felt even more familiar. She felt like she'd seen it somewhere before. FX520? Lu Wangli also felt that this number plate was very familiar. Let me check again. Ling Shan quickly looked up the FX520 registration information, and her eyes widened in shock. She couldn't help but cry out, "Wow, how is that possible?" "What's wrong, Captain Song?" Lu Wangli quickly asked. The FX520 was first registered as an Audi TT. The owner was Feng Xiaoxiao, and a while ago, the license plate was transferred. It's a Land Rover now. Ling Shan felt like she'd seen a ghost. Xiaoxiao, yes, I remember now. At the underground racetrack, we were working with Feng Tianlong to capture the members of the Red Conches. At that time, the Land Rover seemed to have been driven away by Lin Yi, and the license plate was the one from the scrapped Audi TT. Lu Wangli said, "Could it be these cases were all done by Lin Yi?" "How is that possible?" Ling Shan said subconsciously. She knew Lin Yi's manner. There was no way Lin Yi would rob a bank. Plus, the things he was doing now were even more outrageous. Robbing an old man selling roasted sweet potatoes, beating up innocent old women on the streets, and even molesting young girls. It was a completely different personality from Lin Yi. If Lin Yi wanted money, Lin Yi wouldn't even look at all the treasures and antiques in the tomb. Robbing a bank? Ling Shan wouldn't believe it even if she said it. Plus, Lin Yi didn't look like the type to bully the weak. This guy didn't even bother to bully his enemies. Why would he bully the weak? As for molesting young girls, that was even more unbelievable. If he had that kind of hobby, wouldn't it be great if he did? They were both willing, and it felt good, but that's the situation now. Lu Wangli smiled bitterly. The evidence points to this. We can't just ignore it. Can we? Lu Wangli knew about the relationship between Ling Shan and Lin Yi, and he also knew about Lin Yi's contributions in solving the previous cases, but he couldn't just eliminate Lin Yi just because of that. I think we should start investigating this Lin Yi. Immediately get his information and compare it with the image in the video. Make sure it's the same person, Wang Hecken said. Ling Shan didn't believe that Lin Yi was the suspect, but the evidence pointed to this point. She had no choice but to nod. We can investigate it. But Lin Yi is my friend. He shouldn't be in Songshan right now. He wouldn't have the time to commit the crime. Officer Song, aren't you being a little too hasty? How do you know he's not in Songshan? Maybe he snuck back. Don't tell me you're with him every day? Wang Hecken asked. Ling Shan hesitated, but could only say, all right, we'll investigate it then. The information on the police's side was ready-made. All the surveillance videos of the case were also organized together. The few of them came to the conference room, and Lu Wangli very quickly used the projector to play the surveillance video of the case when it happened. Ling Shan only thought that the suspect looked familiar, but now that she saw it again, her heart froze. Lin Yi, this figure should be Lin Yi. Ling Shan remembered Lin Yi's face. All of a sudden, it was a perfect match with the person in the recording. It was the same person as the one in the recording. But Ling Shan still didn't believe that Lin Yi was this crazy bank robber. Investigating Lin Yi was only for the sake of work. After watching the video, Lu Wangli pulled out a few pictures of Lin Yi and played them for everyone. After playing the pictures, Wang Hecken slammed the table and said, with my years of experience as a detective, this Lin Yi is the suspect. These two are 100% the same person. There's no need for identification. I suggest that you arrest him directly. Arrest him directly? Ling Shan raised an eyebrow, a little angry. What was wrong with this Wang Hecken? He could identify the suspect just by looking at him. Plus, whether it was Lin Yi or not, they still needed the technical department to do the identification. How could they make such a hasty judgment? Detective Wang, this Although it looks like Lin E and the suspect's physique are very similar, whether it's Lin E or not, we still need the technical department to verify it. Lu Wangli saw that Lingshan was angry, so he quickly tried to smooth things over. After all, Wang Hecken was the detective they hired. Chapter 1548. The result, humph. Captain Song, I think you're trying to protect this Lin E, aren't you? May I ask, what's your relationship with this Lin E? Wang Hecken didn't give up. Protect? Why would I protect him? I'm just doing things according to the rules. Based on what you're doing, you're making someone a suspect just by looking at them. If you have a grudge with someone, wouldn't it be a mess? Lingshan frowned. Wang Hecken, am an elite in the detective world. Even foreign police have asked me to solve cases. Do I need you to question my skills? Wang Hejin laughed coldly. I think there's an 80% chance that there's something going on between you and that Lin E. But I better remind you, don't be biased. Otherwise, although I'm not part of your police force, I still have my prestige. I'll ask your police station's Chief Chin to let you leave this case. Lingshan was pissed. What was wrong with this Wang Hecken? She'd only said a few words for Lin E. And this was what he was doing? Was he so sure that Lin E was the suspect? We'll wait for the technical department's report before we make a final decision. Lingshan said, if it's really Lin E, of course I won't be biased. If it's not Lin E, please don't jump to conclusions in the future. Detective Wang. Humph, we'll see. With that, Wang Hecken stormed out of the meeting room. He said as he walked, you guys asked me to solve the case, and I gave my opinion, but you guys didn't listen. How infuriating. Captain Song, Wangli was in a difficult position. Let the technical department do the appraisal. If it's really Lin E, then I'll have to arrest him myself. Lingshan sighed. Okay, Captain Song, I'll go first. Lu Wangli nodded and took the copy of the information to the technical department. Lingshan felt helpless. Why was the evidence pointing at Lin E? Was this done by Lin E, or was it framed? After some hesitation, Lingshan decided to give Lin E a call. If this really was Lin Yi's doing, he'd definitely give himself away unless he had a strong heart. But if Lin E really didn't do it, then he would ask Lin E to help solve the case, because only by catching the real culprit could they clear Lin Yi's name. But when she dialed Lin Yi's number, she was a little disappointed. It seemed like Lin Yi didn't turn his phone on, or maybe Lin Yi didn't bring his phone with him at all. Lingshan had no other choice but to wait for the technical department's report. However, while they were waiting for the appraisal report, another big case happened. It was the same culprit at the seaside of Songshan. He robbed a group of young men and women who were having a picnic and threw them into the sea one by one. This was because a young man's head hit a reef in the sea and he died in the hospital. The other people also had different degrees of injuries. The person who called the police was a photographer, a freelancer who made a living by taking pictures for newspapers and magazines. He witnessed the whole crime and even took pictures of it. But he didn't save the person in time, causing the person with the head injury to miss the best time to save him. This kind of photographer, who didn't call the police to save people in order to take good pictures, would be criticized, but Lingshan couldn't do anything about it. Fortunately, this time, the photographer's camera was very high-end, and the pictures he took were not only clear but also high quality. Not only did he take pictures of the suspect's car, but he also took pictures of the suspect's features. This way, it would be easier for the technical department to appraise it. So, after Lingshan got the information, although she felt that this person was similar to Lin E, and giving the information to the technical department might be disadvantageous to Lin E, she had to do it. After looking at the information, Lu Wangli felt bad. After all, he was friends with Lin E, and Lin E had contributed a lot to solving cases in the past. Now that he was a suspect, who would feel good? Captain Song, it might not be Lin E. Don't think too much about it. Lu Wongli comforted her. It's fine. I understand. Lingshan nodded. Soon, the technical department's appraisal results came out, and it was 90% similar. Whether it was the surveillance footage or the pictures, the suspect was masked, and Lin Yi's information was only a picture without any details such as height and weight, so it could only be said to be 90% similar, and not 100% similar. But this result made Lingshan very annoyed. 90% meant that it was very likely that the suspect was Lin Yi. So, it's him, right? With my fiery eyes. No criminal can escape from me. Wang Hecken's eyes. Wang Hecken looked at the report and said proudly, "Can we arrest him now?" "Yes, but we can't confirm that Lin Yi is the suspect yet." Lingshan said, "Humph, you won't shed a tear until you see the coffin." Wang Hecken curled his lips. "When do we send the message?" "We'll go to Lin Yi's villa now." Lingshan said angrily, "Lu Wongli, come with me." "Why aren't you bringing me? Is there something fishy going on?" Wang Hecken interrupted. "You're not from the police. It's not good for you to go under these circumstances," Lingshan said. "What's not good about it? You guys are hiding something, aren't you? What can I see?" Wang Hecken insisted. "Don't forget, I'm the expert you guys invited. I'm not a passerby. All right, let's go together then." Lingshan had no choice but to bring Wang Hecken to House Chu's villa. School was on vacation now, and everyone was studying at home. This was good, too, since there was no air conditioning in the classrooms and it would make people sleepy, affecting the studying process even more. Back at home, everyone had more freedom, and they could drink iced drinks, eat cool fruits, and read. Yow, yow. "I'm so hot. I'm going to explode. What do I do?" Yushu was so hot that she couldn't even focus on her book, running around the room like a headless fly. "I can't take it anymore. I need to take a shower." Chapter 1549. A sudden visit Yushu finished and went to take a shower. She wasn't actually dirty. It was just that she was hot. She ran out of the bathroom after a quick shower and didn't even put on her clothes. She just wandered around in front of Tang Yun and Meng Yao with her naked body. The three of them were sleeping together. Anyway, showering together was a common thing, so Yushu didn't really mind. Walking around the house without any clothes on was one of her habits, after all. It was only because of Lin Yi's addition that she'd gotten rid of that habit for a while, and now that the weather was hot, she picked it up again. "Shu, why are you naked again?" Meng Yao was helpless. "There's still Wu Qintian down there. Can't you be more mindful? Wouldn't it be a big loss if someone saw you?" "He doesn't dare to come up." Yushu said nonchalantly, "I'm hot, so hot, so hot, so hot." "Yao Yao sis, I'm hot again. Help me cool down." With that, Yushu put her hand on Meng Yao's face. "Take it away. You're hot like fire. Are you trying to burn me to death?" Meng Yao pushed Yushu's hand away, helplessly. "Tang Yun sis, don't tell me you don't want Shu too?" Meng Yao ignored Yushu and went to Tang Yun. Tang Yun had no choice but to put her hand on Yushu's forehead. "Is this okay now? Your hand is so cool." "Tang Yun sis, why aren't you hot?" Yushu asked enviously. "It's natural to cool down when you're calm. You run around the house. How can it not be hot?" Meng Yao said unhappily. "Tang Yun, don't spoil her. She's using you to cool down. I got a heat stroke last time." "Ha, it's fine. I'm used to it. I used to help my mom sell barbecue in the summer. It's much hotter than this." Tang Yun smiled and shook her head. "Poor kids like us have better bodies. But Mom said that kids with cold hands have no one to love them. No way? How much does Lin Yi love you? I'm quite envious of you. I want to do something too, but I've been living under my father's protection since I was young, and now I'm under Lin Yi's protection. I feel so useless. I can't do anything." Meng Yao sighed. "At least you've tried your best. It's just that I think you've done very well." Tang Yun shook her head. "I feel that you and Shu are both very peaceful and not arrogant. You're not like those rich young ladies who live a luxurious life. Extravagant? Yushu blinked. Wow. Tang Yun sis, are you implying something? Tang Yun was speechless, and Meng Yao couldn't help but laugh. This Shu always knew how to interrupt. However, after the laughter, everyone became silent. At the mention of Lin Yi, everyone tacitly remembered that Lin Yi hadn't contacted them for more than half a month. They didn't know what happened to Lin Yi, so they were all very worried. Yao sis, do you think Shield Bro is okay? Yushu asked worriedly. I don't know. Meng Yao sighed. But Lin Yi's really strong, he should be fine. Tang Yun pursed her lips and didn't say anything. At the same time, she believed that Lin Yi would come back safely. As the three of them were talking, the doorbell outside the villa suddenly rang. Oh, is Shield Bro back? Yushu was very excited when she heard the doorbell. Rushing downstairs, Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao left together, and Tang Yun was staying here, so there weren't many visitors in the villa. Lin Yi didn't bring his keys when he left, so Yushu thought that it was Lin Yi. Shu, put on your clothes. Meng Yao grabbed Shu and reminded her. Oh. Yushu quickly ran back to put on her clothes, muttering to herself, if it's just Shield Bro, I don't need to put on my clothes. I've already seen him anyway. It's not a big deal. I'll still have to see him when I become a mistress, but that Wu Chintian is a bit of a hindrance. Ha ha. Tang Yun couldn't help but laugh, but you can't always be naked. Let's see what you'll do when Linny gets sick of him. You're right. Thank you for the reminder. Tang Yun sis. Yushu nodded, feeling that it made sense. The group went downstairs, and Chen Tian went to open the door. But there were 3 uninvited guests outside, and Chen Tian didn't dare make a rash decision. He had to ask for Meng Yao's permission first. Chen Tian was someone from a noble house, after all, and Ling Shan couldn't do anything to him. Song Fox? Yushu saw that it wasn't Lin Yi outside, but Ling Shan and the others. She wasn't happy. What are you doing here? Who are you two? Miss, please watch your language. We are here to investigate the case. Don't get yourself into trouble. Wang Hecken warned Yushu. Investigate a case? Investigate what case? Yushu paused and frowned. We're studying. We don't have time. Wang Hecken was pissed off at Yushu's words. He pointed at Yushu and turned to Ling Shan. Look at this. What kind of people are they? Like I said, they must be in cahoots with the suspect. You're the suspect. Yushu glared at Wang Hecken. All right, Shu. Meng Yao didn't want to argue with Ling Shan any longer, and she felt that there had to be something for Ling Shan to come here at this time. Could it be about Lin Yi? Meng Yao's heart tightened at the thought. Officer Song, what's up? Can we talk about some things inside? Ling Shan nodded. All right. Meng Yao gestured for Chen Tian to open the door and let the 3 in. Ling Shan wasn't happy with Wang Hecken's forceful behavior. They hadn't even confirmed that Lin Yi was the suspect yet. And now he was giving them a suspect's accomplice. Why didn't he look at the other party? One was from House Chen and the other was from House Wu. They wouldn't let you off if you pissed them off. They entered the living room, and Ling Shan and Wang Li, on the other hand, sat on one side of the sofa. Wang Hecken, on the other hand, sat in the middle of the sofa like he was the boss. Officer Song, what brings you here so suddenly? Meng Yao was the owner of the villa, and naturally, she was the one to speak. Chapter 1550. Yao Yao's Rebuttal. Part 1. Let me introduce myself. This is my assistant Lu Wangli, and this is the famous private detective Wang Hecken, very famous in both Songshan and Donghai. Ling Shan introduced them to Meng Yao and the others. So you're a detective. I thought you were Fox Song's boss. Yushu curled her lips. Fox Song, where did you find this guy? Next time you solve a case, please look for Detective Shu 007. Don't look for an arrogant idiot like him. Yushu called him Fox Song, but Wang Heken's scolding made Lingshan feel better. She was quite dissatisfied with this Wang Heken, too, acting all arrogant just because he was a slightly famous detective. It was as if he could find out who the murderer was with just one sentence. It was like a cartoon. Wang Heken was speechless. Yushu rolled her eyes and ignored him. She went to the washroom and got a basin of cold water. She sat beside Meng Yao and started soaking her feet. Wang Heken cursed her for being rude, but he didn't say anything. He knew that Lingshan and Wang Li weren't happy with him, and they wouldn't help him if the girls scolded him. He could only endure it. Miss Chu, we're here because of a case. There's been a lot of robberies in Songshan lately, as well as a lot of cases of harassment, assault, and molestation. The list of crimes was giving Lingshan a headache. How could Lin Yi be the one to do all of this? I know, but so what? Meng Yao asked. Lingshan smiled bitterly as she looked at Lu Wangli. She didn't feel comfortable saying that the suspect was Lin Yi, so she decided to let Lu Wangli do the talking. We suspect these cases are all related to Lin. Wangli said, "May I ask if Lin Yi is home?" Tang Yun heard Lu Wangli's words and immediately cried out in surprise. No, Meng Yao wasn't surprised. She didn't gasp, but she was on guard. It's related to Lin Yi? How is that possible? Lin Yi left a long time ago, and we got a new bodyguard. Didn't you see that? With that, Meng Yao pointed at Qintian. Miss Chu, calm down. Of course, it's just a suspicion. We don't mean that Lin Yi is the suspect. Wang Li explained. Only by finding Lin Yi and understanding the truth can we clear Lin Yi's name. Right? Why are you suspecting Lin Yi? He didn't do anything. Why should he be cleared? Meng Yao retorted. Miss Chu, please take a look at the evidence we have. I believe that everything else is superfluous in the face of this evidence. You'll understand why we're suspecting Lin Yi. Lu Wangli sighed as he took out his laptop from his backpack. Meng Yao, Yushu, and Qintian. Lu couldn't do Chu 1. 2 choose Chen Yao and 2 chof Chen Tu's Chen Lu Lin. What evidence? Meng Yao frowned. In her heart, she knew that something was wrong the moment Lu Wangli said those words. Lingshan wasn't on good terms with her and Shu, but she knew that the Song girl had a good relationship with Lin Yi. Lingshan wouldn't have come here herself if Lin Yi wasn't a problem. Judging from the current situation, the police must have gotten hold of some crucial evidence before they came to visit. Meng Yao didn't mess around like Shu did, but asked the questions in a reasonable and measured manner. Lu Wangli opened his laptop and played a few surveillance videos of the bank robbery to the people present. Meng Yao, Yushu, and Tang Yun's eyes widened when they saw the suspect on the screen. Even Qintian couldn't help but scream out in shock. The person in the footage looked too much like Lin Yi. Everyone who lived with Lin Yi could tell that the person in the footage was Lin Yi. However, although everyone was surprised, they tacitly did not make a sound, but patiently watched the entire surveillance video. What are you trying to say? Meng Yao asked after watching the footage. Miss Chu, we're all smart people. Don't you think the person in the footage looks like someone? Wang Li asked. Who? I'm sorry, but the footage isn't very clear. I don't think it looks like anyone. Can you explain it more clearly? Meng Yao naturally wouldn't admit that the person in the footage was Lin Yi. Then take a look at the photos and the car. Lu Wangli didn't say much, but opened the photos taken by the photographer and the photos of the car and showed them to the girls. After looking at the photos, Meng Yao knew that there was no point in denying it anymore. The photos were extremely clear, and the license plate of the car was clearly shown. Even a speck of mud on the car could be seen clearly. What are you trying to say? Are you trying to tell me that this person is Lin Yi, and this car belongs to Lin Yi? Meng Yao asked. Yes, Miss Chu. We suspect that the suspect is Lin Yi. This Land Rover is the car Lin Yi drove. The car plate number, the car model, and the suspect's physical characteristics all match. Wang Li said, "Oh, but you've overlooked one thing. Lin Yi isn't in Songshan right now. He left a long time ago," Meng Yao said faintly. Everything looked similar, but Meng Yao felt that this person wasn't Lin Yi. Putting aside the fact that Lin Yi was now a shareholder of Pengzhan Industries, Lin Yi's own medical company was also making money every day. Was there a need to rob it? Besides, he was flirting with girls? What kind of joke was this? He had a beautiful girlfriend at home, and he didn't flirt with her. He also had a concubine waiting for him to flirt with. He didn't want to flirt with her either. At the very least, he could flirt with himself. So, Meng Yao didn't believe that Lin Yi went out to flirt with girls. He's not in Songshan. That's what everyone thinks. But you guys don't know if he's really here or not, right? Wang Li explained. So, can you guys contact him? I can't, but I'm sure that he's not the suspect. First, he's the second biggest shareholder of Pengzhan Industries. In other words, other than my dad, he's the richest person in the company, Meng Yao explained for Lin Yi. Chapter 1551. Yao Yao's Rebuttal, Part 2. Besides, he's the biggest shareholder of Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company. Do you guys think he needs money? Does he have a motive? Also, you guys say that he's flirting with girls, but do you think he's blind? We're at home, and he's flirting with us. Flirting with other people? Do you think that's possible? Meng Yao continued. Yeah. We're all waiting in line to be flirted with. Yushu nodded and added. Lingshan was speechless. She wanted to scold Yushu for being so shameless, but since they were on Lin Yi's side, Lingshan didn't say anything. If it weren't for her identity, Lingshan would have said that she was waiting in line too. If he's a pervert, then it's hard to say. Wang Hecken, who hadn't said anything all this time, suddenly spoke up. According to my analysis, this criminal has to have a problem. Otherwise, why would he attack innocent people after robbing a bank and a gold shop? How much money do these innocent people have? So, he's definitely a problematic person. Yushu thought, you're the problematic one. She picked up the foot washing water and pretended to pour it away as she walked to Wang Hecken's side. She accidentally slipped, and the entire basin of foot washing water poured onto Wang Hecken's head. And so, Wang Hecken became a drowned rat. Wang Hecken was about to explode, but Yushu said, "Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't on purpose." Wang Hecken was speechless. She said it wasn't on purpose, and if he were to get mad, wouldn't that make him seem petty? Plus, she was just a high school girl. It wouldn't be fun if he held a grudge against her. Some people are not clear-headed, always saying weird things. Pour cold water on them, and they'll wake up, Chen Tian said mockingly. He had been suppressing his anger for a long time. This person actually dared to go against his boss Lin Yi. What did you say? Wang Hecken raged. Bang! Chen Tian slapped the iron flower stand beside the sofa, turning it into a pile of scrap metal. He then looked at Wang Hecken lazily. Are you talking to me? Officer Song, look, this person is threatening me with violence. Wang Hecken was infuriated. He didn't expect Chen Tian to be this strong. If that hit him on the head, would he still be alive? Threaten? Can't you see that I'm cultivating? I'm the heir of House Wu, and I have to practice Iron Fist arts every day. It's fine if you don't appreciate it, but you're saying I'm threatening you? Is there something wrong with your head? Chen Tian said with disdain. Chen Tian's words made Wang Hecken speechless. He didn't know what to say and could only shut his mouth. All right, Xiao Wu, you don't have to say any more. Let's listen to Officer Song. Meng Yao waved her hand. She needed to send Lingshan and the others away as soon as possible and discuss with her dad what to do about this. Meng Yao didn't believe that Lin Yi did this at all. It didn't make sense at all. Miss Chu, we just want to confirm, when did Lin Yi leave? Did he contact you guys after he left? Ling Shan nodded. When did he leave? You don't know? Meng Yao looked at Ling Shan oddly. Didn't he say goodbye to you before? Besides, you should know what he's going to do. How could he make a call in such a remote place? Ling Shan couldn't help but nod. Indeed, when Linny left, he said goodbye to her and Yu Qian. Besides, she knew what Lin Yi was going to do. Asking this question was unnecessary. Officer Song, it seems like you really do have a close relationship with the suspect. Wang Hecken said in a weird tone, please know your place. Don't do something that you'll regret later. You know, I'm watching you, and I can report your every move to your superiors. Ling Shan was pissed off by Wang Hecken. She took a deep breath. Detective Wang, I don't need you to remind me about my business. Humph. Wang Hecken smiled coldly and didn't say anything else. But Meng Yao's words reminded Ling Shan of a crucial problem. When did the first bank robbery happen? Did it happen when she, Yu Qian, and Lin Yi were raiding the tomb together? Or did it happen after the day they parted ways at the entrance of the tomb? In the tomb, there wasn't any sunlight, and their phones and other electronic devices fell into the abyss along with their luggage, shattering into pieces. They didn't have any sense of time in the tomb, since they didn't know when to rest or when to continue walking. After leaving the tomb, Ling Shan and Yu Qian realized that all their communication devices were broken or lost, and they couldn't contact HQ either. They had to walk to the nearest town, completely forgetting the concept of time. But if Ling Shan could find a way to confirm when she broke up with Lin Yi, wouldn't she be able to clear Lin Yi's name? But the tomb robbery was a secret, and she couldn't tell Lu Wangli and the others about it. Ling Shan could only discuss it with Yu Qian and see if he remembered the time. Of course, there were two more important persons, Xiaoke and Elder Yu, but Ling Shan couldn't get in touch with them directly. How about this? Since Lin Yi left, did he drive his car away? Lu Wangli knew that asking about Lin Yi's whereabouts wouldn't get him anywhere. And from the looks of it, Ling Shan didn't know any less than Meng Yao and the others, so he decided to ask about something else instead. No. Meng Yao shook her head. He's driving someone else's car. He left it in the garage below Xiao Xiao's house. It might have been stolen. Then, do you have the keys to the garage? Lu Wangli asked. Yes. Meng Yao sighed before nodding. All right, can you come with us to the garage to look at the car? If it really was a fake car, then some of the details would have to be different. That way, we can clear Lin Yi's name. Lu Wangli said, Sure. Meng Yao hesitated before agreeing. Shall we leave now? Yes, now. Lu Wangli said, The sooner we go, the sooner we can solve the problem. Chapter 1552. The same Shu, Tang Yun, you guys stay at home. I'll go alone, you guys don't need to come with me. Meng Yao thought about it and decided to go alone. Tang Yun didn't know much about the world, and Shu was always causing trouble. She might as well go by herself. Oh, okay. Yushu understood the importance of this and nodded obediently. Tang Yun, on the other hand, didn't know what to do. She only hoped that Lin Yi would be fine, but she couldn't be like Meng Yao, arguing with Ling Shan and arguing with reason. So when Meng Yao asked to go alone, Tang Yun only hesitated for a moment before agreeing. Meng Yao took the garage key and got into the police car with Ling Shan and the others, heading to Xiao Xiao's place. Lin Yi cleaned the Rover and put it in Xiao Xiao's garage. Meng Yao and Yushu both had their own cars, so they didn't need to drive Lin Yi's. They arrived at Xiao Xiao's place, and Ling Shan and Meng Yao got out of the car. They opened the garage door, and there was indeed a Rover parked there. It's here. The car shouldn't have been moved from here. Do you guys still think that this is the car the suspect drove? Meng Yao asked. We can't say for sure yet. We need to check the details first. With that, Lu Wangli took out his camera and started taking pictures of the Rover from all angles. But when Lu Wangli pointed at a patch of paint on the Rover, Ling Shan's face changed slightly. In the photo taken by the photographer, there was a scratch mark on the same part of the Land Rover. Captain Song, what do you think? Lu Wongli smiled bitterly. Are there any surveillance cameras in the area? Can we see if we can get the ones around the garage? Ling Shan frowned. I don't think so. This area isn't closed off. It's open like a park. I don't see any cameras or anything like that. Lu Wongli shook his head. Ling Shan didn't know what to say. Things were getting more and more complicated. She didn't believe that it was Lin Yi, but all the evidence pointed to Lin Yi. If it wasn't Lin Yi, then there was only one possibility. Someone was trying to frame Lin Yi. Miss Chu, please take a look. There are scratch marks on this car, and here's the suspect's car. It has the same scratch marks. Lu Wongli smiled bitterly as he pulled out a photo from his laptop, letting Meng Yao compare it with the paint marks on the car. Meng Yao was taken aback when she saw the picture Lu Wongli showed her. She never would have thought that the car in the picture would be the same as Lin Yi's car, even down to the minute details. Miss Chu, we still can't determine whether these two cars are the same car, but from the looks of it, I'm pretty sure they are, Lu Wongli said with a bitter smile. I'll send the photos to the technical department later to verify them. But please be mentally prepared. Maybe someone is trying to frame Lin Yi? Meng Yao said suddenly. Lin Yi has a lot of enemies. Could it be these people? That's hard to say. We'll have to wait until we find Lin Yi, Lu Wongli said. Thank you for your cooperation. We'll leave the car with you for now, but we might ask you to come and take it away for identification. Sure. Meng Yao nodded. Her heart was in a mess. She didn't say anything, but the evidence was all on Lin Yi. Ling Shan drove Meng Yao back to the villa and brought the three back to the police station. Ling Shan's heart was heavy as well. After returning to the police station, she told Lu Wongli to hand over the evidence to the tech department and drove to the hospital to check with Yu Qian on the time to go to the tomb. At the same time, Jiang Wen's #1 follower, Scorpion's phone, rang. Boss, I've done what you told me to, trying to push all the blame onto Lin Yi. But the police don't seem to believe me, especially that Song Lingshan. She's really stubborn. Do you want me to go talk to their superiors? The person on the other side of the phone said, I have a lot of authority here. I believe that Lingshan's boss will tell her to leave. No need. If you tell her to leave, people will get suspicious. Scorpion said, just do your best. Got it, boss? The person on the phone said, don't use that Land Rover anymore. The police have found Lin Yi's car. Got it, Scorpion replied. I'll get a new car. Okay, boss. I'll contact you whenever I have news. But my pay... The person on the phone asked about his pay at the end. Don't worry, I've already sent you 5 million to the account you gave me. Once this is done, the remaining 5 million will be yours. Scorpion said, but you have to keep us updated. No problem, boss. You know that I'll work for whoever pays me the most. The person on the phone said. Scorpion hung up and walked to Jiang Wen's room. Just as he opened the door, he saw Jiang Wen lying on the floor, howling at the ceiling lamp. Master Wen, you... Scorpion jumped in fright. He looked at Jiang Wen with a weird expression. He didn't know what was going on. A woo. Jiang Wen got up from the ground when he saw Scorpion. He said calmly, Oh, I'm working out. It's a type of exercise. Don't be surprised. Oh, Scorpion nodded. He didn't think much about it. Master Wen, our plan is partially successful, but that Lingshan doesn't seem to believe us. Humph, I didn't expect the police to believe us at all. If we succeed, then we'll succeed. If not, then we won't lose anything. We'll just make Lin Yi suffer a little. It'll be best if we can ruin his reputation. Jiang Wen said, Our real goal is to make the police focus on Lin Yi. We'll retreat safely and move on to the next step of our money-making plan. Chapter 1553. Worrying over nothing, I see, Master N. You're really thoughtful, Scorpion said in admiration. Of course, Jiangwen nodded proudly. In fact, he wanted to put Linny in jail, but after thinking about it, he realized that there might still be some flaws in the evidence. Since that was the case, he might as well give up on it. His main goal was to divert the police's attention. Where's the professor? Get him here. I'll ask him about the progress of his research. The professor is in the lab, but he said that if you ask, I'll tell you that his research is at a crucial stage. If he succeeds, he can raise a person's strength to mystic for a short period of time. This is very important for us robber houses, Scorpion said. Not bad. This professor is a genius. Jiangwen nodded, satisfied. We've basically taken all the money in Songshan. Next, we'll move to Donghai. There are quite a lot of rich people there. Scorpion, you need to be careful this time. Don't expose yourself at the critical moment. Use that guy to take the blame. Then we'll go to Donghai and continue our work. Don't worry, Master Wen. I'll be careful. Scorpion nodded. Meng Yao was a little worried after returning to the villa. Tang Yun and Yushu knew that something was wrong when they saw her like that. Chen Tian, on the other hand, quickly closed the door and stood at the side of the living room with a serious expression. Meng Yao took out her phone. It had the detailed pictures of the car taken in Xiao Xiao's garage, as well as the pictures taken by the photographer. She pushed the phone in front of Tang Yun and Yushu and told everyone about what happened in the garage. That's the situation. What do you guys think we should do? But I think that the possibility of Lin Yi being the culprit isn't high. Someone must be trying to frame him. Yao Yao, you're right. This is definitely not Lin Yi's doing. Someone must be trying to frame him. Tang Yun also chose to believe Lin Yi unconditionally. That's right. That's right. Shield Bro's playing the role of a robber at home. I'll do anything you want. Why would I want to commit a crime? Yushu, on the other hand, was a staunch supporter of Lin Yi. Yushu's words made Meng Yao and Tang Yun's nervous faces smile. This Yushu was really a cheerful person. No matter how worried they were, she could always make them relax. Yao Yao, you know that I've never encountered something like this before. I really don't have any ideas. Tang Yun smiled bitterly. I feel like I'm useless. I can't help Lin Yi at all. Don't say that, Yun Yun. Actually, I can't do anything. Meng Yao sighed. Bringing it out for everyone to discuss is actually a last resort. Can I say something? Chen Tian suddenly raised his hand and asked, Of course, go ahead. Meng Yao nodded and gestured for Chen Tian to speak his mind. Sisters-in-law, I think you guys are making trouble for yourselves. Chen Tian couldn't take it anymore after listening for a long time. Making trouble for myself? Meng Yao paused. As for Chen Tian calling them sisters-in-law in private, she was already used to it. Since Shu and Tang Yun looked so happy, she could only suffer for it. Yeah, Lin Yi is such a powerful person. How could he be framed? Chen Tian said confidently, looking at what Boss Lin Yi has done. Didn't those bastards still fall under Boss Lin Yi's feet in the end? Even someone as arrogant and powerful as me has to bow down to Boss Lin Yi in the end. So, I feel that whoever framed Lin Yi won't succeed. Not only will they fail, but they'll also get beaten up by Boss Lin Yi sooner or later. Ugh. Meng Yao was speechless after hearing Chen Tian's words, but what he said wasn't unreasonable. Indeed, no matter what kind of trouble Lin Yi faced, he'd always solve it in the end. He'd never let Meng Yao down. As a result, Lin Yi himself wasn't worried this time, but they were worried instead. Weren't they worrying for nothing? I think, sisters-in-law, you guys should focus on your schoolwork. As for these things, when Boss Lin Yi comes back, Lin Yi can take care of it. You guys don't have to worry about it, Chen Tian said confidently. You're right, we're thinking too much. Lin Yi should be able to take care of it. Meng Yao nodded. Shoo! Yun Yun, let's go upstairs and study. Tang Yun and Yushu's eyes lit up at Chen Tian's words. Their worries were indeed unnecessary. Ling Shan went straight to Yu Qian's sick room. In order to shock everyone during the Noble House meeting, Yu Qian followed Lin Yi's orders and pretended to be heavily injured in the hospital. Yu Qian was surprised to see Ling Shan. Ling Shan, you don't have to come if you're busy with work. I'll be fine here. Yu Qian bro, I'm here because something big happened in Songshan recently. Ling Shan said as she told Yu Qian about the recent cases. She even told him about Lin Yi being the suspect. Lin Yi? Impossible. Yu Qian shook his head subconsciously. Tell me the time you were in the tomb? My equipment is broken as well, but I brought a mini recording pen with me in order to collect evidence. I've been working since we entered the tomb. You can use the length of the recording to calculate the number of days we've been in the tomb. From there, you can calculate where Lin Yi was at that time. That's great. Ling Shan was excited. If it weren't for the fact that Yu Qian was a guy, she would have kissed him. This evidence came at the right time. Yu Qian passed the pen to Ling Shan. He knew that she was eager to clear Lin Yi's name, so he didn't ask her to stay. He only told her to let him know if there was any good news. By the time Ling Shan got back to the police station, the technical department's report was out as well. From the analysis of the photos, the two cars should be the same car, and all the details matched perfectly. Of course, there was the possibility that it was faked. Chapter 1554. On the way home, the firewolves were full of talented people, and faking it wasn't hard at all. It was still possible to hide it from technology, but Ling Shan didn't care about that. She locked herself in her office. As soon as she got back to the police station, calculating the time with Yu Qian's recording pen. Soon, the results came out. The day they walked out of the tomb was the day after the first bank robbery in Songshan. With this powerful evidence in their hands, everything else was meaningless. Ling Shan was very excited. She didn't waste a second and called Huaijuan. Ling Shan, how's the situation over there? Huaijuan knew that the task force was suspicious of Lin Yi, so he dropped everything and drove back to Songshan. He was almost at the police station now. Director Yang, I've got a key piece of evidence that proves Lin Yi's innocence. Where are you? Can you come back to the police station for a bit? Ling Shan asked. I'll be there soon. Wait for me in the office. Huaijuan said. As expected, Ling Shan didn't have to wait long before Huaijuan came knocking. Only his superiors knew about the tomb raiding, and Ling Shan's subordinates didn't know about it. Ling Shan wasn't sure if she could tell her subordinates about it, so she had to discuss it with Huaijuan first. As for the archaeologists investigating the tomb, Yu Qian had already said that they shouldn't do it right now. The dangers in the tomb were beyond imagination, and it was very likely that they'd die. Director Yang, this is the complete recording of me, Yu Qian, and Lin Yi entering the tomb together. With this, we can deduce that Lin Yi was with us in the tomb when the first bank robbery happened. He didn't commit the crime. Ling Shan said, Yu Qian and I are the best witnesses. Oh, Huaijuan paused and nodded. That's right. With this, we can clear Lin Yi's name for now. But things aren't that simple. Show us the evidence first. The tomb robbery case is basically closed, and we can announce it now. We'll start the trial for Old Hay and the others in a few days. All right. Ling Shan nodded and quickly called Wang Li, Wang Hecken, and the others to her office for a meeting. Once everyone was present, Ling Shan threw out this crucial piece of evidence. The recording and Ling Shan had become Lin Yi's alibi. From this, it could be concluded that the first bank robbery wasn't committed by Lin Yi. What does this mean? After listening to Ling Shan's evidence, Wang Hecken spoke in a neutral tone. From start to finish, the suspect was wearing a mask. I think that the first robbery might be a trap set up by Lin Yi, using your and Yu Qian's identities to create an alibi for him. Ling Shan was speechless. This Wang Hecken really dared to think of anything. But she had to admit that Wang Hecken's suspicions were very plausible. Ling Shan said, The possibility of your suspicions is too small. Let's not talk about how Lin Yi could find someone like him to do this, but if Lin Yi really could find someone that's strong, why would he disguise himself as him? Wouldn't that be looking for trouble for himself? It'd be great if he could get someone he didn't know to rob the bank. Didn't I say it before? This suspect might very well be a psychopath, so his actions aren't something normal people can understand. Wang Hecken said, "He's using his own appearance to provoke us. If he's not afraid of exposing his identity, why would he need an alibi? Wouldn't that be an unnecessary move?" Lingshan asked back, "That's why I said it before. He's a psychopath, and he wants to provoke the police. That's why he's trying to confuse you guys." Wang Hecken said, "This way, you guys will fall into the reverse thinking of the suspect. Even you guys think that he can't be the suspect anymore, and that someone framed him. That means he's achieved his goal. And where do you think he can find someone who looks like Lin Yi? That's even easier to explain. If you guys think that it's someone else trying to frame Lin Yi, then why can't Lin Yi find someone who looks like him to impersonate him?" Lingshan didn't know what to say, but she couldn't refute what Wang Hecken said. The possibility was small, but it didn't mean it didn't exist. "What I said makes sense, right?" Wang Hecken said proudly, "Don't forget, I'm a famous detective. No matter how cunning a suspect is, he can't escape my eyes." "So you're saying that Lin Yi is the suspect?" Lingshan asked. "I can only say that the evidence you've shown shows that Lin Yi is abnormal. It also confirms that the possibility of Lin Yi being the suspect is 50%. Now it's 80%. Wang Hecken said, "I suggest that we start putting a bounty on Lin Yi." "It's still too early to put a bounty on him. We can't do it without concrete evidence," Huai Juan said. "We don't even know what the suspect looks like, and we're putting a bounty on Lin Yi. It's too reckless. It's just a suggestion," Wang Hecken said. There was nothing else he could do since Huai Juan had already made the decision. When all the evidence in Songshan started pointing against Lin Yi returned to the inn. What surprised Lin Yi was that Qi didn't leave. He was waiting for Lin Yi in the inn. Lin Yi had just reached the inn square when Qi flew out to greet him. It seemed like he'd been paying attention to Lin Yi's movements. Every day it must have been hard on him. "Brother Ling, you're finally back. I've been so worried. If it weren't for the power of the Ice Palace, I would have gone to look for you," Qi said passionately to Lin Yi. "Ha." Lin Yi smiled faintly, naturally not believing this bullshit. "Then it must have been hard on you. Why did you wait for me?" "It's nothing. I heard about your real identity." Qi lowered his voice. He didn't know if the Ice Palace knew who Lin Yi was, so he called Lin Yi Brother Ling in public. Chapter 1555. Experiment success. "I'm going back to Donghai, and you're definitely going back to Songshan. We're going the same way, so let's keep each other company." "Oh, right, Brother Ling, where's your girlfriend?" "She's in the Ice Palace for treatment." Lin Yi didn't explain too much to Qi. This person wasn't someone Lin Yi could open his heart to just yet, so Lin Yi didn't want to reveal too much to him. He only treated him as a normal friend. "I see. Then congratulations, Brother Ling," Qi said quickly. "Yeah, nothing much. Let's pack up and go back." Lin Yi didn't want to talk about this. "All right, I'm all packed up, ready to go anytime." "What about you, Brother Ling? Don't you want to rest for the night?" Qi asked. "Nah, I don't need to rest. Let's go." Lin Yi was thinking about his family. Xiao situation was over for now, and all that was left was the exams. If he made it in time, he'd be able to take them. The Noble House meeting was just around the corner, and Lin Yi had to go with Yuqian. What worried Lin Yi, however, was that he didn't find the opportunity to break through to Earth class. Perhaps it was because he'd just broken through to Mystic Late Phase, and that was why he wasn't even at Mystic Late Phase peak. If Lin Yi didn't become an Earth class, then there was no way he'd be able to make both Yuqian and Ling Shan become Earth class. Before Lin Yi became an Earth class, he'd only be able to make Mystic Early Phase Masters. After checking out at the inn, Lin Yi and Qi Kun drove away, heading towards Songshan in order to track down the culprit. Ling Shan had sent more police officers to guard Xiao Xiao's garage. The goal was that as long as the culprit came to get the car, the police would be able to spot him. But to Ling Shan's disappointment, the culprit seemed to have disappeared these days, not appearing in front of the public again. He didn't continue to commit crimes, and he didn't come to the garage to get the car. Of course, Jiang Wen had already gotten Scorpion to get rid of the disguised rover. The reason why 01 didn't continue to commit crimes was because he was undergoing Professor Yin's biochemical experiment. Professor Yin was now able to increase the potential of the test subject to the physical strength of a mystic late phase peak in an instant. Of course, it was only for an instant, but it could only last for 3 to 5 minutes. Under normal circumstances, it didn't need to be activated. Master Wen, I've made the medicine into a capsule and put it in 01's mouth. The moment he meets an undefeatable enemy, 01 will automatically carry out the hypnotist's second order, which is to bite open the capsule. This way, 01's strength will instantly reach Mystic Late Phase Peak, but the duration is only 3 to 5 minutes. The effects of the medicine aren't stable, so we can only determine an approximate range. The professor reported quickly after the experiment was successful. Not bad. Jiang Wen praised after hearing the professor's words. That's already pretty good. I was worried that the police would ask for a master from the Special Investigation Department to help with the capture of 01, and that he wouldn't be able to escape. If he were to be captured by the police, then the plan would be a complete failure. As long as 01 can get away in a split second, there won't be a problem. There's another piece of good news. The professor said, 01's maximum strength is Mystic Late Phase Peak, but under normal circumstances, I've increased it to Mystic Early Phase with the drug, and the effect lasts for 2 hours. Not bad. There's improvement. He was only able to maintain Golden Class for that long before, but now he's Mystic. Another step forward. And as long as we can maintain 01's strength to Mystic Late Phase Peak, then we'll be able to rob the noble houses. Ha ha. Jiang Wen said, satisfied. Right, you said that you've made the drug into capsules. Can you prepare some for me, so I can carry them with me? Wouldn't I become a Mystic Late Phase Peak physical practitioner then? I'm afraid not. The professor shook his head. Master Wen, the drug we're using now has a huge side effect. It's very damaging to the brain, and after taking it, the person would slowly turn into an idiot, only able to move under the hypnotist's orders. They'd lose all sense of self. That's scary? Then I don't want it. Jiang Wen jumped. What a joke. Wouldn't that make him a biochemical zombie? Don't worry too much, Master Wen. I've been working on it. As well, when the professor left, he took most of the data with him, and I can only restore it slowly. But don't you worry. We'll definitely be able to make you a master in the future. The professor said. That's great. Jiang Wen fantasized about the moment he became a master himself. Didn't Meng Yao like to have bodyguards? After he killed Lin Yi, he'd volunteer to be Meng Yao's bodyguard, and he'd be able to get his hands on the beauty. At the thought, Jiang Wen felt a surge of excitement. Right, let 01 continue with his crimes. The bigger the better. It'd be best if the public gets angry. That way, even if the suspect isn't Lin Yi in the end, people would still hate Lin Yi. All right, Master Wen, I'll arrange for him to continue, but don't drive this time. Have him ride a motorcycle. Scorpion said. It'd be best if he's ruthless and show his face so the police can lock onto him. Jiang Wen said, all right, no problem. Scorpion nodded. Boss Lin Yi, the snow's too heavy in front. Let's find a place to hide. Qi Kun stopped his car and stuck his head out, yelling at Lin Yi's car. Qi Kun was a mystic and had a lot of pure qi. Lin Yi didn't need to roll down the window to hear. what he was saying. Lin stopped his car. As well, the snow was indeed heavy, and the visibility was very low. He couldn't see what was ahead at all, and so Chi-Kwun volunteered to be the vanguard, leading the way for Lin with the lights on. Then, let's rest for a while. We'll find a place to hide. Lin said. There wouldn't be any obstacles, pedestrians, or cars on the road, but driving like this was still quite dangerous. There's a cave not too far, we saw it before, and marked it on the map. Boss Lin, shall we go? Chi-Kwun asked. Didn't think it'd come in handy now. Chapter 1556. Chapter 1555. Lin Yi's master. All right, lead the way. Lin Yi nodded. All right, Lin boss, just follow me, Chi-Kwun said as he drove towards the cave. The car had a GPS system, and while they couldn't see clearly, they could still find the general direction. It was an endless snowfield, after all, and they were both driving an off-road car, so there shouldn't be any danger. Lin Yi followed. When Lin Yi came, the snow wasn't this heavy, but on the third day Lin Yi arrived, it started to snow, and it never stopped. It was still like this, so the two had to stop every now and then. As expected, with Chi-Kwun leading the way, the two came to a cave. Chi-Kwun took some camping equipment and got off the car, entering the cave with Lin Yi. There aren't any dead branches around here, otherwise we could pick them up and start a fire, Lin Yi said after looking around. No need, Lin boss, I have a quick-heating fire here. We can use it right away, Chi-Kwun said as he took out a quick-heating fire from his luggage, putting it in front of Lin Yi. Lin Yi didn't know whether to cry or laugh. This Chi-Kwun had brought so many things with him. Was he here for training or camping? You sure have everything, Lin Yi said. That's right, there's even a sleeping bag. Lin boss, let's spend the night in the cave, Chi-Kwun said as he opened his luggage. There was indeed a sleeping bag inside. Lin Yi was speechless. I don't need it. I'll just sit on the ground and train. That works too. Then I don't need it. We're both practitioners. We don't need to enjoy ourselves. Chi-Kwun didn't want to, but Lin Yi didn't need a sleeping bag, so he didn't either. I'm not enjoying it. I'm just worried that something unexpected might happen. It's not easy to make a move in the sleeping bag. Lin Yi smiled bitterly and shook his head. If an enemy attacks, then you can only wait to be beaten up in your sleeping bag. That's true, but this is the wilderness. There aren't even any animals. Where would there be enemies? Chi-Kwun shook his head. Don't talk. Someone's coming, Lin Yi suddenly said. Ah. Chi-Kwun paused and was about to ask if Lin Yi boss was joking when he heard heavy footsteps coming closer. Someone was really coming. Chi-Kwun jumped in fright. Who's here? I don't know, but this person's true chi is thick. I can hear it from his footsteps. Lin Yi frowned. His heart was a little vigilant. The newcomer was undoubtedly a cultivator. But Lin Yi didn't know why this person was releasing his chi when he walked, giving off a domineering aura. Did he notice Lin Yi and Chi-Kwun? Or did he have other intentions? Ah, another practitioner? Chi-Kwun tensed up subconsciously. Don't tell me it's the Ice Palace people? Why would they come? Lin Yi said faintly. Don't talk, let's listen first. They might not be here for us. All right, Chi-Kwun nodded. But this time, they were a little unlucky. The footsteps were getting closer and closer, as if they were coming towards the cave. He's coming. Be careful. Lin Yi, on the other hand, wasn't too worried. The jade on his body didn't send out any signals, so they weren't in danger yet. That person might be overbearing, but he might not be looking for them. Lin Yi boss, are we going to make a move? Chi-Kwun asked worriedly. No need. Let's watch first. Lin Yi shook his head. As they spoke, the footsteps got nearer, evidently close to the cave. There's a cave here. Let me check it out. Suddenly, the person outside the cave spoke, his voice deep and old, tired as if he hadn't rested for a long time. Chi-Kwun shivered. This person was getting closer. and his strength could be sensed by Chiquin and Lin E. It was a Sky Class Late Phase Peak. Lin E boss, Sky Class Late Phase Peak. Chiquin's scalp was going numb. This person is revealing his strength. What's he trying to do? Not sure. Let's watch first. Lin E had fought with the sect master a couple of times in the Ice Palace, and he wasn't as afraid of Sky Class as before. But as to what this person's goal was, Lin E didn't know yet. Was he just passing by? Or did he have other plans? Why would he look around when he found a cave? Finally, the person walked to the entrance of the cave and saw the fire inside, as well as Lin E and Chiquin. He paused and couldn't help but gasp. Lin E and Chiquin, on the other hand, saw the person's face. He was around 50 or 60 years old, with messy hair and tattered clothes. But he was a Sky Class, so it wasn't easy to tell his actual age. From the way he dressed, he looked like a tramp or an old madman. He didn't look like a Sky Class at all. The man entered the cave and blinked as he looked at Lin E. Lin E was about to ask when the man charged at Lin E like a madman. Lin E was shocked and quickly channeled the art of dragon mastery, using pure chi to protect his body. But how could Lin E dodge a Sky Class speed? The man reached Lin E in an instant, grabbing onto Lin Yi's shoulders. Just when Lin E was about to resist, the man called out, "Disciple, my good disciple, I've finally found you." Lin E paused, not knowing what the man meant, but at the same time, Lin E let out a breath of relief. The man had unleashed his pure chi, but he didn't seem like he was going to attack Lin E. Even his hands on Lin Yi's shoulders didn't use any strength at all. "Good disciple, I knew you'd be able to avoid them," the man said excitedly. "But it's been 20 years. Why didn't you come find me? It's been so hard for me to find you." Lin E frowned. Hearing this, Lin E was completely sure that this weirdo was a madman. He seemed to think that Lin E was his disciple, but he said that it had been more than 20 years. So his disciple must have been separated 20 years ago. If that was the case, then he must have gotten the wrong person. 20 years ago, Lin E wasn't even born yet. How could he be his disciple? Chapter 1557. Did he get the wrong person? You got the wrong person. Lin E smiled bitterly. How could I? How could I? You're my disciple. Lear, do you recognize your master? It's your master. Look. With that, the man brushed aside the messy hair on his forehead and turned to Lin E. Look at your master, Lear. Look carefully. Old mister, you've got the wrong person. I'm not Lin E started to sympathize with the old man. It seemed like the old man must have been separated from his disciple, and that caused him to lose his sanity. Plus, his disciple seemed to have been chased by enemies, or else he wouldn't have been able to hide from them. You're not. Impossible. How could you not be? The man's hands on Lin Yi's shoulders suddenly tightened, causing Lin Yi to feel pain. Luckily, he didn't use chi, so it didn't cause any damage to Lin E. I'm really not. Old mister, you've got the wrong person. Lin E smiled bitterly. To be honest, he had some sympathy for the old man, but there was nothing he could do about it. There was no way to communicate with a crazy person like him. No, how could you not be? You're clearly… The man suddenly screamed, his eyes turning red as he pushed Lin E away, holding his head with both hands as if in pain. He sat on the ground, screaming. It hurts. My head hurts. My disciple. You killed my disciple. No, my disciple isn't dead. The man's sudden action gave Lin E and Chiquin a fright, but it seemed like the man's mental illness was acting up, or maybe it was an old injury acting up. Either way, he was rolling on the ground in pain. Lin E boss, maybe we should kill him now. Chiquin hesitated before saying to Lin E, his eyes filled with hatred. Lin Yi was about to shake his head when the man suddenly pushed himself off the ground, jumping up to Chiquan and grabbing his arms. Who do you want to kill? It's you. You killed Li Er. It's you? I'm going to kill you and avenge Li Er. With that, the man tightened his grip, and Chiquan's arm broke with two crisp sounds. Chiquan was a practitioner, but the pain was unbearable. Cold sweat dripped down his forehead, and his legs went soft. He called for help. Lin Yi, boss, save me. Lin Yi, on the other hand, was quite shocked by the man's sudden action, but he didn't act rashly even though he saw the man attack Chiquan. The man was a Sky-class late-phase peak. Even if he was an Earth-class, it wasn't worth it for Lin Yi to fight him for someone he'd just met. Moreover, this weirdo was completely insane. It was impossible to reason with him at all, and this put Lin Yi in a difficult position. Should he act or not? Of course, he hadn't known Chiquan for long, but the fact that Chiquan called Lin Yi boss meant that Lin Yi couldn't just leave him be. But what could he do now? Mister, he didn't kill your disciple. Take a closer look. Are you sure you got the wrong person? Lin Yi didn't have a choice. He could only force himself to explain, hoping that the man would understand him and let Chiquan go. Otherwise, fighting him head-on would be suicide. Yes, I didn't kill him. Look closer. I'm Zhao Chiquan, a disciple of the hidden house Zhao. I'm not the enemy you're looking for. Chiquan was on the verge of crying. How could a Sky-class be like this, saying that he killed his disciple? He wasn't an idiot, killing the disciple of a Sky-class. Was there something wrong with him? It's you. Don't try to argue. I'll take your life to avenge Li Er. With that, the man reached his hand out, ready to slap Chiquan's head, scaring him so much that he peed his pants. Mommy, boss Lin Yi, save me. Chiquan knew that Lin Yi wouldn't be able to help since Lin Yi couldn't beat a Sky-class, and this was a Sky-class late-phase peak. Lin Yi wouldn't do anything reckless, but he still called for help subconsciously. Lin Yi was very nervous as well. He wanted to help, but he couldn't. He ran over and grabbed the man's arm. Shifu, Li Er's here. He didn't kill Li Er, he's Li Er's friend. The man shivered after hearing Lin Yi's words, and his hand that was about to slap Chiquan's head stopped abruptly. He pushed Chiquan away, ignoring him, and turned to Lin Yi excitedly. Li Er, I've finally found you. This is great. With that, the man gave Lin Yi a bear hug, and the moldy smell on him made Lin Yi frown. It seemed like this man hadn't changed his clothes or showered for a long time. But in order to calm the man down, Lin Yi didn't resist. Shifu, your disciple misses you too. Chiquan saw this, impressed by Lin Yi's quick thinking. He breathed a sigh of relief. As well, if it weren't for Lin Yi's quick reflexes, he'd be dead already. Even if Lin Yi sent the news back to the hidden house Zhao, they wouldn't go after a Sky-class late-phase peak. For revenge. Li Er, good disciple. I knew you weren't dead. The man said, but as soon as he finished, he let go of Lin Yi and hugged his head again, going crazy. It hurts, my head hurts. Li Er, Lin Yi jumped at the man's action. He was afraid that he'd go crazy again. So he quickly took out his silver needles and stuck them into the man's head, but after two, the man raged. Who are you? Are you trying to kill me? You're using hidden weapons. Shifu, it's me. I'm treating your headache. Lin Yi said quickly. Good disciple. I'm relieved now that it's you. You're Shirshu and the others are traitors, colluding with evil people trying to kill us both. The man heard Lin Yi's words, and the red in his eyes faded away, returning to calmness as he allowed Lin Yi to stick the needles into his head. All right, Shifu, it won't hurt after a while. Although Lin Yi didn't know why the man was having a headache, the way to stop the pain was the same. Lin Yi could use the needles to temporarily suppress the man's pain. Chapter 1558. Lin Yi sighed. It's done. It's really done. My good disciple, where did you learn medicine like this? The man was surprised and happy. Yes, it must have been because I was in too much pain. So, you went to learn medicine. No wonder I couldn't find you. Yes, master. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. You're too good to me. I'm so happy. The man laughed heartily, and after a while he suddenly said, wait here for me. I'll bring something back for you. As he spoke, the strange man didn't say another word before flying out of the cave and vanishing into the boundless wind and snow. In an instant, he vanished without a trace. With the speed of a sky class, a mystic wouldn't be able to see him at all if he went full speed. Pho. Lin Yi saw the man leave, and he let out a breath of relief. Chiquin, on the other hand, was the same. He'd been scared to death. Linny boss, you're the best. You tricked that crazy old man so easily, Chiquin said, his arms hanging at his sides. Don't talk nonsense, he might hear you. Lin Yi said faintly, he's a pitiful man. Isn't he? His disciple was killed, causing him to go crazy. That's true. Right, boss, my arm. What should I do? Chiquin was a practitioner, and the pain wasn't much, but he couldn't just leave his arms hanging like that. He couldn't even drive the car anymore. I'll heal you. Linny walked over and channeled the art of dragon mastery, placing his hand on Chiquin's wound. Chiquin's eyes widened in disbelief as he looked at the injured area. Miraculously, the twisted arm was turning back to its original shape. It's done, Lin Yi said, letting go of Chiquin's arms. No way? Boss Lin Yi, how are you so powerful? Chiquin raised his hands in shock. He didn't think much of it when he saw Lin Yi treat the man's headache. After all, Lin Yi being a miracle healer wasn't a secret in House Xiao. Even Yao Wang was tricked by him, so it was normal that his skills were better than Yao Wang's. But now, what Lin Yi was doing was beyond Chiquin's understanding. Lin Yi could actually use pure qi to heal people. This was beyond his imaginations. In such a short time, his arm had recovered. I know some healing mental cultivation methods. Lin Yi didn't explain too much. Instead, he shifted the topic to healing mental cultivation methods. A healing type mental cultivation method? Awesome. Chiquin gave him a thumbs up. That idiot Zhao Qibing actually dared to fight with you, boss. He's overestimating himself. You want to be the head of the hidden house, Xiao. Lin Yi looked at Chiquin. Puffed. Chiquin paused. This was something everyone knew, but for Lin Yi to say it out like this, Chiquin wasn't used to it. After a moment of awkwardness, he nodded. That's, naturally, of the hidden house's talented disciples. Which one of them doesn't want to be the head of the house? But I'm not a direct descendant, so I don't have much of an advantage. But if Zhao Qibing didn't appear, I could work hard and take over the position. But now, no need to explain so much. If you want to be the head, I'll think of a way to help you. If you don't, then we'll forget about it. Lin Yi said faintly. Of course I want a boss. Do you have a good idea? Chiquin's eyes lit up. Not at the moment. Lin Yi said, but I'll think about it. Since you've called me boss, naturally I'll do my best to help you. But if you betray me in the future, I won't let you go. So think about it carefully. Do you still want to call me boss? From this incident with the Ice Palace, Lin Yi felt how insignificant. He was in front of the Ice Palace. Lin Yi had no way of fighting back at all. Even if Lin Yi became a sky class in the future, he might have the right to speak in front of the sect master, but he wouldn't have the strength to stand on the same level as the Ice Palace. If he wanted to face the ancient noble houses and ancient sects head-on, it would be impossible without his own strength. These noble houses and hidden noble houses could become Lin Yi's helpers, as long as he could pull them to his side. Even if he couldn't fight against the ancient sects and ancient noble houses, he would at least have the strength to challenge them. He wouldn't be in such a passive position like today. This was also the first time Lin Yi had the thought of getting allies. Before, Lin Yi had only come to Songshan with the attitude of a mission. He didn't want to get too involved, but now he had to plan for the future. For himself, for his lover, and for his friends. Lin Yi had walked on a path of no return. This path had deviated from what Lin Yi, and even old Lin, had envisioned. Right now, Lin Yi was like a boat going against the current. If he didn't move forward, he would fall behind. Only by moving forward on the path of strength could he protect himself, his lover, and his friends. The Lin Yi of the past had never thought that he would walk on this path one day, but before he knew it, he had walked further and further on this path. Even when he stopped, he couldn't turn back. The first thing Lin Yi needed to do was to confirm the resources he had. Yu Bing, Chen Tian, Chen Yuqian, and Ling Shan's loyalty didn't need to be mentioned. Lin Yi wanted to see what Qi Kun was thinking. If he was just using him, then Lin Yi would help him, but he wouldn't put him in his core camp. Qi Kun heard Lin Yi's words and fell into deep thought. He was a smooth person, but he wasn't an idiot naturally. He understood what Lin Yi was implying. He didn't answer right away because that would be too fake. Plus, he couldn't just blindly agree to something like this. He knew Lin Yi's methods. He had always been cruel to his enemies, just like his brother. So, Qi Kun wouldn't do something like agreeing first, and then going back on his words. He needed to think this through carefully. Lin Yi was asking him to make his stance clear, and Qi Kun knew that if he agreed now, then he would be on Lin Yi's side. If he went back on his word, he'd have to pay a heavy price. But to tie himself, and even the hidden house he controlled in the future, to Lin Yi's chariot, he needed to think carefully. Yes, I've thought it through. After some hesitation, Qi Kun gritted his teeth and nodded firmly. Chapter 1559. Chapter 1558. Half a treasure map. When he saw Lin Yi punching Nai Peo and kicking Nitian, Qi Kun knew that Lin Yi wasn't a normal person. And just now, Lin Yi miraculously healed Qi Kun's arm, shocking him even more, since Lin Yi was this strong. So what if he followed him wholeheartedly? Plus, he would become the head of the Hidden House Xiao, and Yu Bing would become the head of the Hidden House Yu. Both he and Yu Bing would be Lin Yi's followers. This meant that House Yu and House Xiao would become close allies. It was much more reliable than the marriage before. This way, House Xiao's strength would increase by leaps and bounds. Under Lin Yi's protection, normal houses wouldn't dare offend them. All right, Lin Yi nodded. I'll let the Ice Palace take care of Qijiu and help him get stronger. Let the Ice Palace? Qi Kun was a little surprised Lin Yi was talking big like that. He knew very well what kind of existence the Ice Palace was. Lin Yi was actually talking to them. Zhang Naipeo and Nitian, who were both ancient level, didn't receive any special treatment. What did Lin Yi have to do with the Ice Palace? Xiao Xiao will stay in the Ice Palace, becoming an inner disciple. She's also the sect master's junior sister. Lin Yi didn't need to hide these things from Qi Kun. He just wanted to make Qi Kun believe in himself. Of course, Lin Yi was trying to use the tiger skin as a flag, but Lin Yi couldn't make the Ice Palace do anything for him. Asking the Ice Palace to help Lin Yi deal with other people wasn't realistic at all. But asking Xiao Xiao to help take care of Qijiu was a piece of cake. Who in the Ice Palace didn't know who Xiao Xiao was? She was the inheritor of the Ice Spirit Mountain, the next master of the Ice Palace. Who would dare to disrespect her in such an unimportant matter? Although he couldn't contact the Ice Palace directly, Lin Yi had recorded the address of the inn in the icy snow town. All he had to do was send the letter to the shopkeeper and ask him to pass it on. Ah, Qi Kun's eyes went wide. Boss, you're related to an ancient sect? Lin Yi smiled noncommittally and did not explain further. In Qi Kun's heart, he felt more and more happy with his decision. He could already see the moment when he would become the head of the Hidden House Xiao. That's right, boss. That old lunatic is gone. Shouldn't I run away? What if he comes back? Qi Kun suddenly thought of something big, So what if he's back? You think we'll be able to run away? The senses of a sky class isn't something we can escape from. Lin E smiled bitterly. This trip to the ice palace had given Lin E quite a lot of knowledge, as the entire ice spirit mountain was under the control of Crystal Candy and Ching, and he was in the middle of a snowstorm. He wouldn't be able to get far, and it would be too easy for that man to catch up to them. Besides, Lin E wanted to know what the freaks said. He was going to get something good. Although Lin E had no intention of taking the freak's treasure, he couldn't help but be curious. The old lunatic had been separated from his disciple, and Lin E didn't want to mess with him. With that thought, Lin E suddenly realized that he had become a lot kinder. When he first came to Songshan, Lin E wasn't someone who liked to care about other people's business. The life and death of others had nothing to do with Lin E. But now, perhaps he was infected by the people around him. It can't be. Chiquan naturally trusted Lin Yi's words. Hearing Lin Yi's words, his face turned bitter. Then what if he comes back and goes crazy again? Don't worry, as long as we don't provoke him, it shouldn't happen, Lin Yi said. While the two of them were talking, the sound of footsteps came from outside the cave again. It was obvious that the strange man had returned. Chiquan patted his chest, thankful that he didn't leave. If he had left earlier, the man would really have been able to catch up to him. He's back. He's back. The man rushed into the cave excitedly and couldn't contain his joy when he saw Lin E. He walked over quickly and handed a paper bag to Lin E. Good disciple, I've kept this map for so many years, not letting your bad masters people get it. It's impossible for them to get that treasure. Lin E looked at the package the weirdo was handing him. He didn't know if he should accept it or not. From the strange man's words, the thing inside the oiled paper bag should be a treasure map, and the item inside should be a precious treasure. Perhaps it was this precious treasure that brought about the destruction of the strange man and his disciples' family. But how could Lin E just take it for himself? If the man was a bad person, then so be it, but he was a pitiful person. Lin E really didn't want his thing. He'd regret it when he woke up. Lin E didn't reach out to take it. Take it? Good disciple, what are you doing? The man saw that Lin E didn't reach out to take it. He was confused. All right, Lin E didn't have a choice. He could only reach out and take it. Open it and see if it's damaged. The man said, originally, I remembered the things drawn on the map, but over the years, my memory is getting worse and worse. I can't remember some of it. I'm old. I can only get it. Okay. Lin E listened to the man's incoherent words and could only open the paper bag. God knew if he didn't do as the man asked, the man would go crazy again. Lin E opened the paper bag and saw that there was a treasure map inside, but it was only half of the map. Where's your half of the map? Take it out and put it together. The man said, after you put it together, I will take you to treasure hunt. I don't have that half with me. Lin E said with a bitter smile. You didn't bring it? That's right. How can you carry such an important thing with you at all times? If the bad guys in the sect find it and snatch it, it will be bad. At this point, the eccentric man sighed. This treasure was hidden by Master back then. And the map was also divided into two after I drew it. But Master's memory, I don't even remember what I drew on this half. Master, this map, I'll leave it with you first. Wait until I get my half. Lin E said, as he prepared to return the map to the man. I'll leave it with you. Otherwise, I'll forget where I put it again. The man waved his hand and said, It's getting late. Let's rest first. Tomorrow you go get your half of the map and we'll go treasure hunt together. Right? It's been so many years. Let me see how your cultivation progress is. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.